NVIDIA earnings after the bell. The biggest day of this earnings season, and every earnings season is finally here. We're going to hear from NVDA. Some negative news here for NVDA out of China this morning as well to kind of spice things up. Here's a look at this S&P 500 as of right now. Pre-market high, unable to match the high that we made intraday yesterday. NASDAQ, though, actually already eclipsing its intraday high and trying to take out yesterday's pre-market. So once again, seeing a slight divergence here in the performances of the NASDAQ and the SPY. Take a look here at USO. I think certainly worth noting as we continue to hear about transit through the Strait of Hormuz. Right now, certainly pushing lower and poised to open lower, but a little bouncy over the last hour or so. Again, guys, it's not just NVIDIA, though. NVIDIA will absolutely be top of mind this entire session and certainly after the bell. We also have news from Google, of course, yesterday with its I/O event. Lots of other earnings in the retail space, including from Target. And if you want to see these NVIDIA earnings live, stick with us after the bell. We'll cover them for you right here. But so much to talk about in the meantime, Sharif. There is,
Adara, a lot of earnings names. Target finally on the good side here of the earnings report. Not up a lot in the pre-market, but up 2/3. Lowe's a little bit of a different story, down 2 1/4. They reported as well. TJX just continues to chug along. A lot is made about that management team and how long they've been together and how well they're doing. They're already up another 3 1/4 here in Kava. Let's not forget that Mediterranean food up 7 3/4 here to start the morning, Adair.
Yeah, as we mentioned here, a lot to talk about. Do stick with us all day and after the bell. We're going to start you off, though, with some Sean and Neil. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, everybody. And you got NVIDIA today, Fed meeting minutes. Man, who cares? Bond market. Who cares about the bond market? It doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter that the 30-year is at highs that it hasn't seen since 2007. Not a big deal. Not a big deal at all. The market just churns on and says, who gives a you-know-what? We don't care that oil is higher. None of that matters. All that matters is the NVIDIA prints and all the other chip names go up. Like across the board, I think you had between 2 and 5% between, if you go like AMD down to Marvell and Micron and Intel, they're all in the 2 to 5% up range. Oh, and going into the earnings tonight, NVIDIA is the largest notional short in the SPX. Just in total dollars. Obviously, it's not a big percentage, but maybe that's hedging. Maybe that's a little bit why this one doesn't want to go parabolic, but there's plenty of things doing so in its stead. Let me look at that quote board just to see if I was... Intel, oh, never mind. What did I say? Intel 5.
5%.
3.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it this way. Fire. Intel and Marvell 5, MU 3.5. Only 2% for AMD there. ARM to SMC. This is just the stuff. AVGO 1.7. Hey, Robinhood not bad, up 1%. Tesla will be on the mind today. Bounce off that $400 level. That looks like it's going to be pretty good. I don't know. Everything's looking pretty solid this morning. And again, they don't care about the bond market.
Yeah, I've got Intel and Tesla written down as the top two there. And we were having a discussion with Joe earlier, and I was just like, yeah, if you buy some decent names and hold them for a while. And I think a good example is like when ARM came down into that 200 and we scooped some up last week. You know, this is another good name that could see the light moving forward on an ARM with the current environment. And all of a sudden, you know, I'm long at 201, it's 228. So it's like right there, boom, you're already beating the index for the year. You know, you just grab that 10, 12% in 2 weeks and there it goes. But are you going to sell any of it? That's the real question. I think that's what a lot of people are wondering about here as some of these names just continue to climb higher and higher in this environment. Does it mean that you start to sell some of this? And it's just how far up are you? I think you maybe rebalance your portfolio a little bit if there's something that's gone a little parabolic for, you know, for your liking. But yeah, I sold, I was telling you, Joe and I sold Target in our, just joking, I sold it, but we have that, you know, that business that we're running. We sold some at 122 there, 121, and now you're up to 130 with a great report there today from Target, only up 1%. So we'll see what winds up happening, potentially getting a little toppy there for Target. Still got 25% of that, so that's been a really nice play there. We say a big congratulations to Arsenal there, Sharif, as they're putting out, there it is, the premiership yesterday. It's been how many years?
22 years, Katina, man, since the Invincibles. I don't know if you know about the Invincibles, but they didn't lose an entire game the entire season. A lot of ties, you know how it is in soccer.
Yes.
We didn't quite have that season this year, but hey, man, we're at the top.
Work's only half done, Sharif. 30th.
Yes,
30th.
there's one more to go there.
Got to win that Champions League, and then you complete it. So
congratulations to everybody there again. Yeah, make jerseys great again. Yes, finally wearing jerseys around here.
Because if you remember,
I've got the team.
But Sharif, when he started, basically always wore jerseys.
Yeah, exactly.
Here. Like we used to sit like right behind in the row behind us when we were doing the show, and you'd see Sharif and he'd pretty much be in the jersey, rock the jersey game. I believe it was basketball most times though, Sharif. It was hold on. What was your go-to basketball jersey?
I got the Raptors, the purple one, the throwback, and that's a Carter one. And then I had the Kawhi one. You had to have the Kawhi one from the season that we won it. Those are the two that I've got.
Well, people are saying, "Where's jersey?" He doesn't wear the glasses, though. So you get one or the other today.
Well,
yeah, shout out to all the Arsenal fans out there. That's really nice to see. As you know, it's that's sports for you. We had a great game yesterday with the Knicks and the Cavaliers, were one of the biggest comebacks of all time. I was watching that right into overtime and everything. That was crazy. And of course, the Blue Jays continue to shit the bed. Hopefully, they can actually get some
Yankees are sick
stuff going. Yeah, and the Blue Jays, 3 home runs for Vladimir Guerrero, man. Oh, my God. If we could only have that deal all over again, I guess. Huh?
Oh, and the guy that took us to the World Series? Yeah, I'll take that.
You will? You will?
100%.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not one of those fair weather complacent people. Like, the guy literally was the best hitter on the planet, taking us to Game 7 of the World Series when no one thought we'd go there. I don't abandon after 40 games. That ain't
No, he's just playing really bad. That's all. It's not. I'm not trying to abandon our boy over here. It's just... It's
part of the game.
Right now, it's one of the worst contracts in baseball, I would say. No?
There's
3 home runs for $50 million? Batting 280? I don't know. Is there worse ones? I don't know. Is there?
Besides
a pitcher.
Well, basically every long-term pitcher contract is the easy answer. But you can go into basically every single team is going to have an out-of-the-money contract. Vlad has done this multiple times.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Let's hope he gets out of it.
I can get into the technicals with his swing and when he loses power and whatnot. And the thing you got to be concerned about is whether he's still walking. That's the thing that concerns me. If he's not walking, then you're in trouble. But he's always going to hit some ground balls. He's not a true 40 home run guy. Everyone thinks that.
Yeah, I think 30 would be his max.
He did it for 1 year and he won a home run derby. And everyone thinks his swing is different. He's not Aaron Judge. But no,
that's for sure.
I was more pissed off at this. If you get a guy down 0-2-1-2, foot on the neck. Greg Max used to say it all the time. If you were ahead in the count, that's when you wanted to put in play. Don't throw a ball 3 feet outside on 1-2 and then 3 feet in front of the plate, then go 3-2 and then walk a guy. And then get up 1-2 on the next hitter and then walk that guy too. You attack. And that's one of the things that I look at it, it's I don't know if it's a confidence or organizational thing. The pitchers get up, attack. You've got to keep your foot on the ground. I was so impressed with it. I'm going to go back to basketball.
Vladdy's really young.
I am so impressed with the Knicks. I almost want, I don't know. I'm starting to think I never thought anybody could win in the West, outside of the West. Mm-hmm. But
Knicks are undefeated, I think.
Watching the Knicks, it's unbelievable what they're doing right now.
Yeah. And they almost got smoked. They were getting smoked yesterday, down 22
Then the fourth quarter comes?
Yeah, I know. Jalen Brunson is really stepping it
legit. Up. And of course, they got some former Raps in there, which you can vote. You can kind of cheer for OG out there.
OG Anunoby. Yeah, that was a good one there.
By the way, Intel.
Yeah, I have Intel.
Just as we mentioned it actually pressed a fresh high. It just did this. Oh, I got a dark pool.
It still has a lot to go to get back to where we need it to go, but 130 is coming up. I had written down, somewhere near yesterday's close, if we could get it. So 111. That was when we were at 115. So let's wait to see what's going on. Their Poet is another name that people could maybe trade today, up 2 million shares.
That's so weird,
there today. So, man, this is going to be a good one here today at some point. Poet should be definitely watched. You mentioned NVIDIA earnings tonight. We'll be staying late. Joseph, myself, and Adara will be late here until 4:30 or so. But yeah, it should be a good one. Oil, we looked at that a little bit. USO, it's kind of just hovering around that 150 mark. We'll see if there's any sort of news coming around that. I still think the short is in on, some names like a Micron. I mean, it's blasting right back to the high side. We had talked about buying some yesterday off of 3 straight down days there. Oh, he closed it. Okay, good. Good one. Yeah, that's funny. I didn't even see that notes, and we were just thinking the same thing there. So, JKL, when you're thinking the same thing as me, it might not be a good thing. All right, closed MU this morning. Short, still short. Hands off till yes. So that's the thing that I think is going to be the right name to watch out for. Is obviously NVIDIA. We wait to see what earnings happen there. Buying dips on NVIDIA. Like a bad NVIDIA number might be a good idea. We'll have to wait to see if that winds up happening. Most people, I guess, are going to be long anyways.
It's like the hedge
into that number.
It's apparently like allegedly a lot of the short in NVIDIA is just seen as like the AI hedge, I guess. And maybe that's what's been weighing on the stock a little bit. But with your MSTR, there's nothing about that's changed. Like that still looks the same. Held 2 hundo underneath, like Bitcoin. Broke the trend, really hasn't done. It's up today because like everything's up today, but you had to break down and all you do is consolidate for a couple of days. It's not really a bear flag, but you're holding under some fresh lows there. There's nothing about that looks like it's made some kind of decisive turn yet. And I'm looking at IBIT today, which I'm probably more willing to be in like both directions here because unlike that MSTR chart, this clear 2-day resistance is holding above, so that gives like a dip buy zone, but it's also a fill in the gap short if it goes to 44.5.
Yeah,
of course, Omen with the Go Habs Go, Canada.
And now we'll finally see. We'll see Mitch Marner's true colors today when he faces a real team in Colorado. So shout out to Mitch Marner, who's been having a great playoff against a bunch of subpar teams. So here's NVIDIA right now.
Beat who's put in front of you.
Yeah, I know, but that's why it's a bunch of crap about how, he didn't play well with Toronto, and now he's playing so well with these guys. Toronto ran into buzzsaws every single year. This guy's been playing a bunch of sort of mediocre teams for now. We'll see. I hope he could do it in Colorado for everybody that's a Vegas fan, but I think Colorado's an amazing team. Okay, so there's NVIDIA there, 185 up to 224. So it's 20%. Year to date, 19.8% year to date there on NVIDIA. And you can see we finally starting to break out. We did tip above, right there above that 220 marker. We'll see if we can get that into 236, into 240 for NVIDIA. So that's going to be, and it's like, we said, NVIDIA wasn't doing that much, but it was still 20% so far this year as you go halfway through the year. So it's like, looking at AMD, looking at all those other names, sure, you're probably going to say, hey, I don't see any sort of comparison. Like, we would much rather have been long AMD this year than into NVIDIA. I think that's going to be right, and we'll see if today, so it's 20% for NVIDIA, and it's, I'm trying to get like an actual real date here. Yeah, you could just do the rough math here. If we go up to there, that's 422. This is saying 89% there. So yeah, from 230.
You're going from the beginning of the year.
Yeah, I'm going from 230. Yeah, year to date. Yeah, 230 up to 420 there. So about 80 to 90%. So
number?
Was it 86 or what was it?
What's it at right now?
422. 80, actually, yeah, 80, yeah, it's 88, I think that says 88, 88 there. I should make that font different.
Crazy 88.
White there. But wow, man. So that's what I'm saying, like AMD 90% in 6 months, 5 months.
Yeah, that'll play.
So yeah, nothing wrong with thinking about taking out some profit at some point, and let alone names like Marvell and ARM and all these other names getting going. We'll see if Tesla has the juice today. I like Tesla. We talked about that yesterday. We were watching it, and we traded it pretty well in the afternoon there. We lost yesterday in the morning going long, believe it or not, right here. We were long right here yesterday and lost. So today we'll see if it does dip down. This is what we're watching out. We're watching out. Hey, Randy. We're watching out for that 200 period moving average. Did you see what breakfast was, Randy? Oh, shakshuka. Okay, the best one. Good. So it's something red when I'm wearing this white shirt. So that is absolutely fantastic.
The tomato sauce. It's like it's a key. You wear white.
Yeah, you gotta watch out. Yeah, you gotta watch out for that over there.
In the contract.
Randy's gone.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Apparently the eggs.
Joe had them and was not impressed.
Well, yesterday's eggs were.
Yesterday's eggs were one of those runny.
They can't be worse than
eggs.
They were really watery.
I wonder people. How do people like their scrambled eggs? Sometimes I even go to restaurants and they are a little bit. That was too runny. Yesterday.
You scramble eggs at home? Because
not really. We used to when the kids. Now Gia doesn't really like eggs.
Yeah, fried are over easy for me.
Yeah, I like.
Everyone likes fried eggs.
I like
do
poached when I go out. Poached. When I go out, I'll try to get poached. More fancy like that.
Yeah, scrambled. I don't know. When I was young,
I don't mind scrambled. I
would do it, but not.
Yeah, yeah. The kids are a big scrambled. But yeah, I like. Not really over easy, over soft. Like not.
It depends on what I'm eating it with. Like if I have like a good biscuit or something and soft.
That's the thing. That's what I was gonna say.
I don't want it over easy, but
yeah,
if I don't have anything to go with, then I'll probably be like over.
We get these farm fresh eggs from a friend that we know, and those are elite. The taste of eggs. If you get the farm fresh ones, like from an actual farm, it's a big difference there. But all right, Darren Shreve, you guys like eggs back there?
I enjoy a scrambled egg moment from time to time. I really love a poached egg, and I like an egg Benedict. I want to talk here about this individual on the screen. His name is Jeff Bezos, and he's currently on CNBC, guys. Just be aware. Probably nothing massive. He's talking to Andrew Ross Sorkin specifically about Blue Origin, so not Amazon related, but maybe keep an eye on these space plays. I think either way it is worth noting that he's speaking. We're going to talk about NVIDIA earnings once again soon for the first of many times today to prepare you guys. But in the meantime, I've been feeling we might see NVIDIA on Joe's screen over here as he discusses options.
All right, guys, let's take a look at some of the activity here. We're going to kick things off with some Intel, and then you guessed it right, Adair, we're going to talk some NVDA momentarily. But I want to talk about this $120 marker, potentially back in the works here with INTC. Now, the open interest at that level expiring this Friday, we're sitting on approximately 15,100 contracts, still currently open in 24,000 open and closed on yesterday's session. Now, that's quite a bit, relatively speaking. Our at-the-money IV, so there's been an increase in transactions there, around 103% there, guys. And our delta, considering it's a far out-of-the-money contract, sitting on that $21 metric. And our gamma exposure is relatively light, but we're sitting on an $8 spread. So watch out for $120 to come into play. And with that being said, where can we find a potential bottom here? This is extremely out of the money as well, too, guys. But we're going to look for that base, and that could be around $100. We touched into that level on yesterday's session before decided to go in a buy program. Now $100, we're going to be sitting at open interest at 14,200, and hence why we would bounce off of that. We have a put wall at that level, and then sure enough, the market continues to rally. Now for volume, 17,600 contracts open and closed at that specific zone. Now we're going to be taking a look at the bid and the ask. It's a little bit cheaper. We'll take a step back here momentarily. You can see we're sitting at $1.28 and $1.20 on our bid and ask, but here we're about $40 cheaper. So ask at $87, and the spread is relatively tighter. $8 spread on the call side, $3 spread on the put side. Now, as for the delta, we're sitting at that $14 metric. Gamma exposure relatively light, and your at-the-money IV stays the same. Now, as we refer to the Super Bowl of earnings, a lot to look forward here with this name, and I've mentioned on multiple occasions, we actually talked about it on Monday, but considering we're going to be reporting after the bell, let's get right into things to see if we've seen any drastic changes within this specific underlying. Now, we're going to be looking at 240. We had a couple other strike prices, but I wanted to bring us that highest level of open interest at the nearest at-the-money strike. Now, 68,300 contracts at that zone, and I've mentioned before, we've seen 150 and almost up to 200,000 contracts open leading into the report at the $200 strike price when it was south of that level. And we had the inability to breach, so we could therefore classify it as a call wall. I don't know if that's necessarily going to be the case here. 68,000 contracts I do believe have the ability to be absorbed, and we can climb into that next level. Now, as for volume, we're sitting around 50,400 contracts open and closed on yesterday's session. And sure enough, it gaps up to around $225 yesterday, closing around $220 yesterday. At the close yesterday, or sorry, 225 this morning, 220 around the close yesterday. Now, as for our bid in the ask, it's a $3 spread there, guys. Our delta metric sitting on $8, relatively cool. It's $240, so we're about $20, $17 away from that specific level. Gamma exposure, cool as well. And at the money IV, 84.6%. But we talk quite often about how do you achieve those triple-digit returns. You have to look at some of these contracts. We talked about the 240s, we talked about the 260s, and we even talked about the 270s, all right? Now, you have to remain forward-looking with them. Now, where can we find a potential base just in case things go in the opposite direction of what we're anticipating here? We're going to be looking at that $200 marker going to be expiring on Friday. Now, as for the open interest, guys, 27,200 contracts at that level and 30,000 open and closed. Now, our delta and our gamma are going to be cool, and you can see that our at-the-money IV is still the same as on our call side. We'll keep an eye out for these contracts expiring this Friday. Let's be prepared for NVDA's earnings report after the bell, guys.
Absolutely. It just, you know, it's expected to move 6. It did 5.5 last time. So, you're up, Intel's up 5% right now. You know, and Marvell's up 5% right now. If we had to guess, what's going to have a bigger move in the next week between NVIDIA or just any of the chip names that we've been mentioning, and even after earnings, I don't necessarily know that that's going to be NVIDIA. All that being said, you know, you're going to watch this. It matters a heck of a lot more to the overall market sentiment, I think, than it's going to matter to the individual stock here today or tonight, I should say. And I wouldn't be terribly surprised. I look at NVIDIA, and the one thing that I feel pretty good about is, well, you got a double bottom from the last couple of days. Going into earnings, I feel kind of unlikely that you would break that. But there is a little bit of a weight on its shoulder. Like Atlas is carrying the weight of the world, and therefore you can only get up that hill so fast. And that's a little bit of what it seems like is going on with NVIDIA. And that just means that other names are kind of unencumbered. Right, like Marvell and Intel and AMD, they're all unencumbered going up the hill and just able to glide nice and easy. And we had a several-day pullback, a week and a half pullback on some of these names, and big reversal yesterday that I think going into the earnings, I feel good about today. After tomorrow, anything can happen, right? This little pullback that we had in Intel, pullback that we had in the chip space. With the turnaround, it could end up being a short one if somehow, I don't think they'll miss, but if there was ever disappointing numbers for NVIDIA, would be cooked at that point. I don't think that's going to happen, but just understand that you're rolling up the hill pretty quickly for some of these other names. If Intel has a hiccup or Atlas shrugs, then, you know, they'll go down a heck of a lot faster than NVIDIA will.
Yeah, Pops Mafia was asking me, would I rather be long or short into NVIDIA, into the print? And I'm only holding NVIDIA into a long-term position, so I'm neutral in long-term accounts. So I'm neutral into that one. What I was saying was the same type of thing. If you're nervous about the NVIDIA earnings, then you want to sell, some of the component parts because they're the ones that are going to, get to the downside if NVIDIA warns about anything. If you're worried about how could NVIDIA possibly miss, maybe they don't mention something about demand potentially slowing down, or I don't know, so I would say a Micron, obviously an SNDK. I would sell out of these names ahead of NVIDIA if I was nervous. I would sell out. I don't know if you need to do AMD. AMD could actually win on a lower NVIDIA number because potentially they're stealing business. We heard from Randy yesterday that, in some of the data centers there that we're connected to, and these are major centers that are in New York. We talked about it all over the world. London, Beijing, everything are all connected using AMD now. They're starting to switch a little bit over. So what could be NVIDIA's downfall could be AMD's gain. And then even names like Marvell, could see a downside turn if there's a problem with demand, right? I don't know. And then even a name like I was just mentioning that I had just bought, ARM. This name could get smoked as well to the downside if there's any problems with NVIDIA. But for me, on NVIDIA alone, we just showed you the numbers. AMD's up 90% this year. ARM is up maybe more. ARM's in January, same, more than that, 100 and change percent. ARM was 110 up to 230 right now, right? And so that's been more than doubled this year. So NVIDIA just chilling around at 20%, I think it'll be a 3 or 4 or 5% move today. If anything, these other names could really get clocked. I mean, they could go both ways.
And don't forget the non-chip names.
Remember, ARM's earnings went to 250 on earnings. That was real.
I'd be more worried about ARM than I would about, this is weird to say, but I'd be more worried about ARM than AMD. And even to a certain extent, Intel, because if you look, they're all trying to get the same piece, a similar piece of the pie. And really, ARM they're kind of new to the game. Like it's projecting out the new chip business in a couple of years, as opposed to, well, you've had the growth for AMD and Intel in their core is kind of come out of nowhere. But that's going to be new for ARM, I would think. But don't forget, like, Renova could run into pressure tonight if there's a hiccup from NVIDIA. Like, there's lots of places that you can consider to be worried about. Like, and I think it makes sense. Like, there was profit taking going into this NVIDIA print, and now these names are probably poised a little bit better. Like, this is almost 20%. Well, not anymore, but at one point yesterday, I think it was almost, or in the last 2 days, pretty much like 20% or 15% off the highs. And it makes some sense. Like, and it relieves some pressure so that it's not do or die on this print tonight. But we haven't really seen NVIDIA disappoint. We can be disappointed by the price action. When was the last time you were disappointed in the actual numbers for NVIDIA? I don't know that that's necessarily true. By the way, this Poet stock, more companies should lose deals with major chip.
Yeah, but I don't know what the story is. That was that one move down. Yeah,
I only say
come back there. We got to figure that out.
This one is crazy. The volatility on Poet recently.
CoreWeave's another name that could lose if there's any problems today as well.
God.
But,
CoreWeave.
Bitcoin at 76 is a little.
Oh, don't even forget the new IPO. Like,
is there another one?
Cerebras.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's
like the volatility in that name is already insane. Let alone any position that come up. But by the way, they got fast. They're on the fast track for S&P 500 inclusion as well.
Yeah.
Like they're saying for SpaceX. I don't know. There's no set.
The thing about the S&P 500, there's more bad companies in the S&P 500 than there are good companies, right?
Well, it's 500. It's not like the NASDAQ.
Yeah,
it's not like
so
the NASDAQ 100.
They probably qualify easily right now to get into that with their revenue numbers and things like that. So, yeah, we'll see. And that's why stock picking can be very, very profitable. I think you still need to have a lot of your money in indexes. But, yeah, just because that's why I don't really buy, like, they kick out the bad ones and put in the good ones. They also do hold a lot of bad names as well if you check out what the S&P 500. But there's 500 names in there. The NASDAQ 100 is a little bit better. That's why they coin names like the Mag 7 and things like that, right? You got to sort of pick and choose your battles. And if you are a good stock picker, it's been a great. They said right now stock pickers are well outperforming the indexes, and it's been a while for that to have happened. So that doesn't happen very often. And there's that.
It's just in the long run.
Yeah, you can't. You're not going to be able to outpace 16% or whatever the S&P. Well, the S&P's been doing really great these last couple of years.
Pretty insane the last couple of years.
Yeah, it depends on, like, if you're sitting in a name like Microsoft. I mean, what is Microsoft this year to date so far? Here, open this thing up. So here's January. Let's see. There it is. So Microsoft this year to date would be, okay, so let's just use this. I'm going to think that this is actually seems to be working somewhat now, our little marker here. So we can eyeball it and give you a number, that's for sure. But there it is. We'll go like that, and we'll go like January 1st, and then we'll see what Microsoft has been doing this year. And it is down 15%. So that's where it's like, okay, what a big percentage here of many of the indexes. And then that's going to be part of the story. So if you didn't really, and Microsoft was down a lot more. If you didn't, feel that Microsoft was in a good spot this year, then yeah, you could have got away from that and not held it into your portfolio. I still am quite a big Microsoft guy as well, but definitely not buying the dips in that name. Maybe it's time. Down 15%. Down 15% might be worth a look. I didn't realize it was down that much.
We have a monthly on Microsoft. Microsoft has bounced clean, relatively clean. I would say it was cleaner off the 50 period on the monthly back in 2022, but that's pretty clean on the monthly. A couple of wicks underneath, bounces the 50 period there. It's still holding. Like you can make the argument that like somewhere in here that was a hefty seed change for them, and yeah, the software name's been under pressure, but it was able to bounce where you would expect it to, and that's the thing about like quality companies is you feel a little bit better when they're lagging to be able to buy the dip. And you juxtapose that with anybody who's not making money with where rates are going to be going. But yeah, a lot to get to, of course. I don't know if we're going to have our main man Luis on there, but just before we throw it back to the desk, no, but in all seriousness about that Poet stock, like that thing, the volatility the last few days has been all the way. It went from like $22 and then was bouncing off of 12 in the last few sessions. So it's got a lot of room if it can hold on So like, hold VWAP, sustain some dip buys. This is one small capper that I'm going to feel pretty good that Sharif will be looking at here. I mean, it's done over 3 million shares in volume. It's gapped up 14%. It's moved pretty much every single day. It's above the volume weighted average price. I'm pretty sure it'll check all of the boxes, but will it be the champion, Sharif? That's the real question.
Looks pretty good here, Neil. I mean, I'm looking at that overhead resistance from a few days ago that we had right around 18 bucks, but it does look like it's basically on the way there, breaking through the highs of yesterday, holding yesterday's highs as today's lows. I do like the setup. It's a name that a lot of people have been looking at as well over the past few days, so it's probably going to be on a lot of people's side charts, watch lists, whatever, but I'm going to look for $18 as overhead resistance, Adair.
Yeah, we're going to talk to Luis in a minute. In the meantime, I want to, as I promised you guys before we did the option segment, I want to talk about NVIDIA earnings because, Sharif, we know NVDA, always an exciting quarter. Tell everyone what we're kind of expecting from this report.
You know what, Adaro? I mean, we've seen really good numbers come out every time, but the price action doesn't quite reflect that. That may happen again today. Let's talk about why. So the sell side analysts, they're looking for a revenue number, that top line number, to come in at around, what are they looking here? $79.2 billion. But the buy side, they're a little bit more ambitious. They're looking for about 80 and change. So consensus right now among some analysts, if we get something between 78 billion and 79 billion, even though that would be technically a beat, we may sell off after that as there's a lot of elevated expectations. That's point number one. Point number two is, for the first time ever, NVIDIA is going to include in its GAAP earnings stock-based compensation. That may make EPS comparisons quarter over quarter or year over year a little bit skewed. So keep that in mind. Obviously, analysts will obviously keep that in mind. And then gross margins. This unbelievable company has had mid 70% gross margins now, going on 3 or 4 years. That's a very, very hard thing to defend, especially with so many people throwing their hat into the ring. So anything below, people are saying here, 73% may signal that the Blackwell scale up, as well as the higher cost for packaging with Intel and TSMC, as we've talked about, may be eating into some margins. So look for above 75% gross margins if they can do it, but below 73 could cause a bit of a sell-off.
Yeah, and we're hearing even that this trip that Jensen Huang took, of course, with the U.S. administration and other CEOs to China maybe didn't go as well as hoped. Now it looks like we've got the gaming chips added to the ban list in China, even the China-approved gaming chips. So interesting look here for NVDA. But in the meantime, I'm sure we're going to have lots of interesting small caps to look at with Luis Barbado of Academy of Day Trading, here in Barcelona, Spain. How are you doing today? Good morning.
Hello, Adara. Good morning. It's pretty good here.
Yeah, I'm sure the weather is quite nice over there as well, for sure. We can talk about that in a second, but I want to start with these small caps. There's quite a few on watch today. One on our watch list that we put together this morning is SLXN Selection. They had earnings, I guess their day 3 earnings play. They had earnings on Monday morning. Pretty small float in market cap. What are your thoughts, if you have any, here on SLXN?
Yeah, you said this was a very interesting stock in the pre-market, although locates were a little bit expensive. We are in a running cycle since, I think it was Thursday last week. We have a crazy runner. I think it was TDAC. So since this stock went crazy, running up like 700% or something like that, quite fast, the locates price has risen a lot for the last days. So we couldn't locate this one short because of the price. I think it was like 6 cents of movement. So let's say if you go short, you have to make 6 cents to scratch the trade because of the locate cost. What we did here, because we couldn't short like the one round number short, that was a nice short. Look at that. They reject the one round number. We went long in this consolidating area, kind of a Sharif trade, right? Over consolidation over the VWAP. We went long there. We went long again here, and we closed it below the VWAP. So it was profitable trade on the first trade, a small loser on the second one. We will see if this holds around VWAP, we might see another try to break these pre-market highs and then try the one round number. I have to say, this stock, it has non-compliant bid price. So it doesn't matter if it goes above 1 or not. They don't have these NASDAQ requirements. So it's more about the earnings play more than anything else.
Hey, good to know, and thank you for making that distinction. One name that I know Sharif was just talking about, Neil was just talking about, Sean was just talking about, Poet. POET. Right now, this is about $15. We know this one had a pretty negative catalyst involving Marvell a while back. Are you looking at POET? Is this the type of name you'd be watching today, Luis?
Yeah, it's something we have been watching, of course, for the last month almost. It has been very, very volatile. Today, what we are looking is longs. You know, we are more short bias trader, but today we're looking for long on this one. Couple of reasons. First, we have this setup that we call third red day long pullback. So it is like this. After a huge run up that we have seen this from $11 to $25, we have 3 red candles, daily red candles. That's why we call it 3 red day long pullback. So after a huge run up, we have 3 red candles on a daily basis, and then we have a long pullback here. So we are looking for longs over the VWAP. If the volume continues raising after the opening bell, we will look for long on this one. When we will stop, whether it lose volume and momentum or it lose VWAP on lower highs. But so far, it's a long bias for us.
So I have one question. This is out of my curiosity, and this might be kind of a dumb question here, but I'm curious about your thoughts on something like this here. This specific example is, Mike, where MWC obviously made the move up and then down here in the pre-market for this MWC. So my question is this the type of thing you might have on your radar in case it comes back up and rejects again, or if something like this happens at pre-market, you're just not going to look at it for the rest of the day?
Unfortunately, we are probably not going to take a trade on this one. The movement was too early, first of all, and way too volatile with very low volume comparing to the float. Why we don't short these ones? Because it has a recent APO. So the risk on this one, we have seen a lot of black swan of this type, you know, very low float, new IPO, recent IPO. So you don't have any resistance or prices where you know it might stop, low float. So it's very, very dangerous to short front side this one. You could short maybe on the back side if I think it was too early. You see here it was very, very early in the morning, this one, but you could short once it failed highs here, maybe, you know, short here, short when it lose VWAP, but the volume was very, very, very thin and it was very difficult to short this one. But as I say, never short front side a recent IPO with low float. You might make money 90% of the time, but it takes only one to blow up your account and end your career as a trader.
Yeah, wise words. Thank you very much for explaining that to me, because as I said, I was legitimately curious as to how you'd view a stock like this. Now, are there any other stocks that you're looking at as of right now to potentially trade today?
We have, I just remember, we had another one like this one, PETZ. You look at this, from $1 to $7 in, I think it was like 10 or 15 seconds, another blowing up account if you are short front side on this one. I think the NASDAQ or the SEC would have to take measures to avoid this kind of movements. We had one, I think it was last week, where they canceled all the trades within 1 minute to avoid this kind of movements in the market. I don't know if with the 23-hour markets, this will get solved or it will be more common. We don't know yet, but never short front side recent IPOs with low flow, because this is what can happen, okay? So about today, we have also June's, this stock. It has a bid price compliant. I thought it was gonna hold VWAP. I had to say, I thought it was gonna hold VWAP here and try the $1 to avoid the NASDAQ requirement. It failed VWAP, so right now it looks more like a short against VWAP than a long, even though it has a bid price requirement from the NASDAQ. And also we are checking SUGP. This one, it just failed. Oh, we missed that trade. Sorry, it was too late. We missed that, and it's very interesting because we were shorting this against a previous resistance. I think we have to go like 1 hour. Okay, here you go. You have these nice places to short on the first try, and then here we have a huge resistance on $7 round dollar. And it worked pretty nice, that short. Look at that. Okay, it was very fast. From 7, it touched the resistance from previous days and all the way down. So let's see if we have a pullback here around the VWAP to short. Very unlikely. I have to say, we are, as I said in the beginning, in a runner cycle. We have a lot of stocks running a lot pre-market with low float, so locates are quite expensive. So we have to adapt or just hands up and wait for better moments.
Thank you so much for answering these questions and being here with us today. Luis, if the people want to find you on social media or online, how can they do that?
They can find us on X, 8-Day Trading, or they can write an email to info@8daytrading.com.
Thank you so much, Luis Barbado. You'll probably see him in our chat as 8-Day Trading, and I believe he's also going to be in the midday today at 1 p.m. Eastern. Thank you again to our friend Luis Barbado.
Thanks to you, Adar. Yeah, I try to be active on the chat. Also, sometimes trading makes it impossible to write down and chat and everything. And we'll see Sharif and Joe later on.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Fantastic stuff as always. Yes, Luis is in the chat. He made sure we knew about that nice short he had yesterday. Nice work, brother. Make sure you join Sharif and I, and also Luis at 1 p.m. sharp today during the midday show. All right, guys, let's take a look at some of the analyst actions here this morning. We're going to kick things off. Home Depot reporting earlier in the week, guys. You're down about 0.5%, but getting the downgrade here with an overweight rating, but price target reduction, $378 to $421 by Piper Sandler. And then we also have Crown Castle getting the downgrade this morning, guys, going from outperform to peer perform. You're down 2.4%. Now, Bitcoin Depot, a penny stock with the downgrade, guys, going from a buy to a neutral. You're down 2%. No specific target on that one. Last time I checked, it was around 55 cents or so. Now, Canadian Solar, I know the gentleman will be talking about this one. We're positive this morning, up around a little under 0.7%, but going from a buy to a hold with a $16 price target from Freedom Broker. Now let's take a look at some more positive things. Yes, Marvell up an additional 5% this morning. Congratulations, we like this one, as this name just continues to climb and outperform. But it has an overweight rating here today, guys. $135 up to $195. Wells Fargo increasing that price target. And then we also have Kava Group here reporting this morning overweight rating here with an $82 to $95 price target. Piper Sandler giving them the nod. You're up 7% there, guys. Humana also getting the nod, guys. You're up 1.4%, going from a hold to a buy with a $441 price target by Deutsche Bank. And then we also have Etsy getting the nod, 3.7%, guys, going from a neutral to a buy with a $76 price target. Let's send it back to Neil and Sean.
Actually, it's really nice to see the analysts come around on that BTM for the downgrade. You know, now that it's
now that everyone knows the company.
Now that $70 stock is now at 50 cents. You know, it's you gotta, at some point you just gotta get on board with what's happening. Because my first thought was like analysts are covering a penny stock, but then you realize, okay, it wasn't always a penny stock. But yeah, upgrades to the left of them, upgrades to the right of them, as everybody in the chip space tries to play a little bit of catch up there. And I saw some chatter, some people in the chat saying, well, how can something be on the downgrade if they get a price target raise? Just remember, you know, sometimes you'll go, like analysts will go a longer period of time than others with their updates. So they could be short term, like for the next 6 months or a year or whatever, bearish on something, but their last price target on it was so long ago that, you know, the adjustments don't necessarily line up. That's why a lot of times, if you really care what the analyst thinks, go find some report that they've read. But for Marvell, this is, I mean, I don't know, it looks a lot like Intel, so I'm not going to really tell you anything that you don't know, but you've made everything back from the, dump's the wrong word, but from the selling that we saw on Monday, and then some to a certain extent. But I don't know, these prior highs are still head and shoulders. Like if we dip, that's why looking at this or like an Intel, you know, if you dip, it's like, maybe be able to give it room to like the last support level, just given the volatility that's in the market today. Going into NVIDIA earnings, maybe even cast a little bit of extra volume there for sure. Like that's, if I'm looking at the upgrade downgrade list, I'm pretty sure most people will be looking at Marvell on that list. Probably not Kava, although good report for them. Actually, Kava's chart not bad. Like Kava could be breaking the 50 period. I just see it as tight to some resistance here. Good rebound for them though.
Yeah, Louis said something interesting, and it was about Poet, and it was just the fact that he's looking at a 3-day. Like, so you've had 3 down days and now an up day. This is very, very similar to how we like to play some of the earnings names. You say, you know, wait, give it 3 days, right? So the sort of the 3-day rule, let it sort of come back in and settle out, and then you see if the buyers can come back in, or it goes the other way as well. 3 up days after earnings, potential sell side coming through. So, I could get behind that for Poet, and you could see. I don't know if that's always going to be the truth, but I want to thank Luis for bringing that up, because it's an interesting thing. There's 3 days there, and there's an upside move, and it's not going to happen every single time, but it's something that you look for. Like, here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 down days, right? But it's generally, looking for a big move, and that's what he was highlighting, not just a small little one. You're looking for an extended move, give it a couple days, and then potentially back up to the upside again. So that looks like that's happening right now. So I want to thank Luis for bringing that point to our attention. And it was after a dramatic move, right? And so there you go, to get dramatic move, 1, 2 days, and then back up. So, you're looking for it right now. There's a big move there. Starting from $7 all the way to 22.25, and then back in, and then it starts to bid back up again. So I feel like that's definitely something to look out for. And then, looking to maybe get out. You think about getting out if you break. I mean, I don't know how conservative or aggressive you want to be on this name, but that's 1380 right there, going with yesterday's top, going with the 200 period moving average. So we'll see what happens with Poet today, but that was a good call there on the 3 days and bouncing. And it automatically made me think of a trade that you can do off earnings. Let it settle down, let the analysts come out and figure it out for earnings. And today, Poet looks like it's trying to be bought back up as well. So this could be a good long today. That's for sure. So, yesterday, I just saw someone talk about Warby Parker. Yeah, that was yesterday's news, because there was talks from Google that they were thinking about getting into the glasses business as well, with some of those AI glasses and what that next move looks like. So I don't know why that's necessarily such a bad thing for these guys. I mean, obviously you're going to want to partner up with somebody, and maybe they just weren't mentioned. And but I almost look at a name like this and say, again, like, you don't need to be. It's not rocket science. Like, these tops around that $30, maybe you get out and you don't worry about getting long until you break above that 31 mark right there. So you've already had a couple opportunities to get out of some name like this, but still pretty healthy, still above the 200. Let's see if Warby Parker gets back to the upside here. Just another one of those names that's potentially not an AI name that got hit yesterday.
Yeoman.
Well, there's a 200 period moving average question again.
Yes, on
I didn't. What is 200 period for CoreWeave? How
SMA on the daily.
Oh, there. So it's right there.
Yeah, it's right off the. You know what, the 50s right here too for CoreWeave. But we were trading off in the other direction, the $100 level here, because in the afternoon it was like it kind of got up there and rejected it for a short. But not that it really makes a difference, but we're gap back above, and it looks like, that looks like a liquidity grab to an extent. Like, you get a bit of you get a very distinct buy program underneath that $100 level when it breaks the 200 on the daily, and now that's a hold. Yeah, this looks pretty good. I mean, if you're looking at a couple of chip names already, let's just say you have like AMD and NVIDIA on your list, or Intel and Marvel, like whatever it might be. You might not add, if you're a day trader, CoreWeave, but if you're looking for something, this is as good as any of the bounce, because these are all like bounce plays after a pullback. Like, every single one of these is going to look the same. But that's a good look off that 200 SMA. It was a sell. It was selling that same price in the afternoon. So the fact that we gap above, you want to see it hold the open, because it closed more or less like 99.80 or something, more or less at that 100. So you want to be able to withhold that dip off the open and that volatility that we know comes in the first 5 minutes or so. But if it can do that, that's got plenty of gap to fill, just like any of these other chip names. I'd argue it obviously has more. Like, we were just on Marvell, and it's like Marvell's pretty much right back at the highs already. Like, that's not as much room to go. Intel's got plenty of room to go. Like, I kind of prefer the ones that, if they're making the turn, they have a little bit more room to get to the high, as opposed to having to battle it today. CoreWeave definitely falls into that category. I also believe we got some gifts. I want to shout out Amare on TikTok there for several gifts this morning. So we got to appreciate it. And also, Amare was liking, Amare was liking the Arsenal shirt.
Sent 12 of those.
It's 12, we got a bunch of them.
12 times 18 cents, whatever that matters.
A bunch of these gifts. And yeah, we appreciate it. And he's, of course, shouting out the Arsenal shirt as well.
There it is again. There's another 4 cents.
Gunners for life.
Yes, Gunners for life. All right, yeah, there it is. She's very excited. It's a big day around here for the man. So we're excited for Sharif and winning the premiership.
Well, I mean, they got the win without having to play last night.
Yeah. Well, that's fine. That makes sense. We'll take that. And Sharif, you must be excited there. What were you doing when you heard that announcement yesterday afternoon?
Bettina, man, it was the Man City game, right? They were playing Bournemouth, and Bournemouth had a lot of motivation, I should say, to win that game because they're trying to get into the Champions League. They still got a shot. They were winning till 1-0 to like the 95th or 96th. Then Haaland scored and kind of put everybody in a little bit of a tense moment, but 1-1 was enough for Arsenal to secure the championship. And then immediately, what I went to social media to see if there were videos coming out of the boys celebrating in the change room, and boy, they were. So very pumped about that, Adara.
Yeah, I think if you're a Micron shareholder, you're certainly going to be celebrating too, because MU keeps pushing higher. I want to mention it because they actually, at 8:40 a.m., began presenting at the JP Morgan Global Technology Media and Communications Conference. We know this conference has been happening all week, and Seagate got hit pretty hard after its appearance at this JPM TMT conference. But basically, Micron management speaking pretty positively here, saying they've actually strengthened, quote unquote, their financial outlook since their Q2 26 call back in March, and they expect substantial free cash flow for Q3 2026. I mean, in the meantime, though, let's take a look here at Google, because GOOGL, speaking of events, we've had a whole bunch of conferences all week. Sharif, one of them was Google's I.O. yesterday.
It was a big one, Adara. I watched a little bit of a recap on that one. I couldn't catch it live, obviously. We were doing the midday. So 3 things stuck out to me right away. The Ask feature that Google's going to put in. Ask Maps, Ask YouTube, Ask whatever service that they have. It's brilliant. So say, for example, you're trying to, come up with a solution to a problem that there's really no one video for. You ask YouTube to kind of help you guide you through that. It'll give you text and then videos specifically to solve your problem. And the best part about it is it'll move to the part of the video that's relevant to you. So a lot of context there. We knew Google was going to use their services to kind of leverage their services for a better outcome product. So I like that. The other thing that I want to mention is that $100 vibe coding tax, for lack of a better term. They launched $100 a month AI Ultra subscription tiers for developers. It's a massive price escalation, but you get 5 times the usage limit of their Anti-Gravity 2.0. That's a vibe coding app right now that they have for Android developers. And last but not least, guys, they are now processing 3.2 quadrillion tokens per month. Okay, just to give you some context to see like where we're at. Last year, they were doing 480 trillion per month. So it just gives you the idea of the scale, and a lot of people want to know why the hell they're spending so much money. Here's one of the reasons.
Yeah, that quadrillion number, pretty significant, guys. How do you feel about GOOGL here?
I feel great.
I mean, in the long run, I feel great about it. But today, right now, I don't know. Like, there's been all that selling at the 400 level, and we got like every single time it's been trying to bust the 400. It's almost like it's people ringing the register, or I don't know. It feels like it's made a top channel that we might have to either deal with another leg pullback or just sit here holding this support at 380 for a while, right? Like we're talking about the entirety of the month that we've been in this channel. So we're more than halfway through now, and it's been 380, and we busted 400. 1, 2, 3, 4. If we have 5, I wouldn't include. Yeah, you can include yesterday, like 6 days. So basically, just better than 1 in 3 days we have had a fail of the 400 level here. But the good news is, as long as 380 holds support, you're really just in a long, quality bull flag consolidation here on Alphabet. But up in the 400s, it has been a sell. You can't really ignore that. But when you're this price perfection, I think you're absolutely fine. Target expects more cost challenges in Q2 than first half and second half. Well, I mean,
we can see what Target's doing.
I wouldn't consider that terribly.
Oh, there it goes. The Target's getting hit. Okay.
Oh, shoot.
I actually sold it at 121. Yeah, so there you go. So now we're so super happy about that. I'm so smart. But there it is. There it is. Yeah, let's go, Joe. I don't.
Marty.
Actually, thanks for bringing that up. I mean, obviously the conference calls. No, I wasn't even paying attention. No one even mentioning Target on the chat there. So I guess not a very well-loved name. This is a 4% dividend. So this is why I don't chase yield because, 4% dividend down 5% in one day. But there it goes to the downside for Target. So, yeah, it was. I sold just because like I would have, I think a 130 was a great level there. We talked about, was it Warby Parker? And I mean, different names like that. Target's one of those things, man. We drove by in Minnesota, we drove by a Super Target. And of course, both my wife and daughter were like, oh my God, a Super Target. We had to go into a Target. We went into 2 Targets when we were in Minnesota. So it's definitely, and all the girls on the team is Target crazy. So I don't know exactly what's going on with that store, but today, right now, downside on their earnings report. And the earnings were great. It's that talk there that Adair just put up there, and Neil mentioned there, the costs potentially going to get higher. And of course they are, right? I mean, everything is getting ridiculous. Gas is going to be, I was listening to a guy on the way in today on Bloomberg, predicting $6 the U.S. average over the summer, $9 in California. And when you're a retail company and you're dealing with logistics, there's going to be a lot of shipping costs associated with this. So whether or not Target, how much it costs to get their inventory back in line, fill up those shelves and whatnot. Definitely energy pricing going to be a factor there, wages and everything like that kicking out as well. So we'll see, man, as costs of goods continue to go up, we'll see if Target can hold those costs in-house, or if they have to, sort of transitory, bring them out to the end consumer. And obviously, if that winds up happening, then we get a downside. But this is probably unique to them, right? I mean, I don't think.
Looking around, Walmart and Costco aren't moving. So.
Yeah, so there's gonna be nothing going on there. Walmart and Costco, so it's still best of breed, which is why we took Target for a trade, man. We had it really low. We got some good price levels, and I'm just trying to buy what I believe to be decent companies at decent support levels. So our target, we've been in this for a minute. It was down into this area here. We had fallen in. I think we had probably first bought it in and around here, and then we had just bought some more recently there, and then boom, to the upside. So now there's another software name into it, obviously starting to head to the downside. So INTU, we can have a quick look there. Lay off 17%. Okay, so that might not be a horrible thing, but Intuit continues to be downside. I did hear Starbucks as well today was going to lay off 250 employees in Seattle, so that seems like a lot of employees. I don't know, stores are getting shut down for Starbucks for efficiency reasons and whatnot, and we'll see. This is another one, like, could you be wrong selling some Starbucks here? Probably not. If it does pop through, fine, you made that choice. But looks like after their earnings call, we are kind of barcoding. And hey, maybe this is just consolidation to pop through. So I would say that we wait for that big move to happen through this 109 area. Then you will get into that 115, and then you make a different decision now. So Starbucks laying off, so is Intuit. Sucks for the companies, but we've seen Meta, we've seen a lot of, and look, Meta hasn't necessarily gone up after any of that news.
Intuit's
right?
not going up either here. It's not moving. Intuit doesn't do a heck of a lot of volume pre-market. 35,000. There was a very small spike. It looked like maybe someone hit the buy key and then right back into the lows. Not looking very good. Oh, a name that Sharif breaking back above, and I do this all the time. Like, actually was posting, ASML back above 1,300 because I typed it in Amsterdam. Back above 1,500 is ASML. So you're seeing Micron pop. We saw Intel already pop this morning, ASML popping. You can see a bit of a theme as to what is looking strong here in the AM. So that's ASML, Micron, another 5 points, as that just went $10 off of VWAP here. So looking pretty strong on Micron. I mean, it runs right off of yesterday's highs. It's when you get this kind of forget about the V shape on Micron yesterday. When you have this type of reversal, like at the open, pure screaming buy program, that reverses to make a fresh low. When you then end up bullish after that type of reverse, it's just even better. Right? Just because you've trapped, you have shorts from previous days, you've got shorts from the morning, you've got shorts from VWAP multiple times that were playing this to the trend down. Then you've got shorts breaking the 2-day low. There's just a lot of trap that got put in there on Micron, which makes it a little bit bullish. But then I'm probably describing a few other chip stocks as well. But you got to like that ASML there, Sharif, back above 1,500.
I love it, Neil. It's just, it's been ranging 1,500, 1,600. There's a bit of a $1,600 top there that we can't seem to shake. So that's kind of what my concern is at the moment, seeing if we can get through that, Adara.
Yeah, we get actually more commentary from Micron coming through right now. We know that they're at that JPM conference already saying that they have strengthened their financial outlook since the last call, but further saying that they continue to expect HBM, DRAM, and NAND tightness to continue well beyond calendar year 2026. I think really good look for these memory names here.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, with the Samsung possible strike coming in, we'll see how it goes today. I think that they're doing a vote today or tomorrow, something like that. We'll find out exactly how that goes. But Samsung's already said that they increased their NAND price for and DRAM as well, 100% in Q1. We're seeing something similar to that by Micron and some others for Q2. So just kind of reacting to the environment. But again, analysts kind of a little bit caught between two minds. You have those who still say, that the typical cyclicality in RAM and NAND is going to continue with, gluts of inventory and then supply constraints. And some other people are saying, no, we're going to have a multi-year bull cycle where this is going to be basically in short supply for the coming couple of years, Adara. So it should be interesting to see how this all plays out.
Yeah, 9 a.m. is here, so I guess we'll get started with the rundown quickly before we get to the futures here with Sharif. I want to mention ServiceNow. Some people in the chat talking about it. This name getting close to 100. Solid day to start the day yesterday, but then gave up the entire move and went red. Right now, let's see if we hold into that $100 level, which we already broke pre-market. But in the meantime, how are the futures looking, Sharif?
Well, we closed out at 735 and 2/3 yesterday. We're up above that level right now, up 1/3% here on the SPY. We didn't quite make it down to 730, but we did lose 735. So I'm hesitant to want to use 735 as an area of support. We're going to go ahead and say 730. Let's look for that area to defend in case we sell off. Who knows what happens. To the high side of there, we're just going to go 740 as resistance level 1.
There's no other way to start this rundown without talking about a major earnings name. But before you do that, you guys can find out about said major earnings name if you check out our Trader TV Live watch list. It is free. It comes right to your inbox. It is info on economic event, earnings, any news catalyst you would need to know that could be coming, has already happened, or is happening that day. Please join us at Trader TV Live every day and then prepare ahead of time with that Trader TV watch list. In the meantime, though, no shock here. At the top of the watch list is NVDA today as we await these earnings reports.
So 3 points I want to make again. Buy side analyst, sell side analyst, nodding consensus about what that top line revenue number is going to be. The buy side is saying 80 and change. Sell side believes it might come down to about 79.2. My main point here is to say if it comes below 78, maybe even a range of 78 to 79, we could be in for a bit of a sell-off, even though that would technically be a beat. Second point I want to make, the new changes to their to their gap earnings, they are now including stock-based compensation in those gap earnings. So quarter over quarter, year over year comparisons may not be quite right. And last but not least, gross margins. This company is very well known for defending as well as maintaining very high gross margins for a physical product. Of course, anything below 73% of dare, I think we could get a bit of a sell.
I have to mention another chip name here, too, which is making moves. ASML's CEO saying that strong AI demand means chips will be supply-limited market for quite a while. Get a spike all the way up to 1528, giving it up all the way back here to 1505, though still near the prior pre-market high before this pop. NVIDIA, guys, how are your thoughts?
Well, NVIDIA analysis in the rundown brought to you by Gemini, everybody, because if you think you know where Bitcoin's closing this week, or maybe you have an idea where the election's going to go in 2028, possibly where GDP is going to land, don't argue about it, start trading it. Gemini predictions of yes or no markets on crypto, commodities, politics, sports, and more. Now featuring 15-minute and 5-minute crypto markets so you can trade the action in real time. You can set your amounts, see the odds, get paid when you're right. Open an account at Gemini.com or scan the QR code for more information. Want to shout out to them. And we're honed in on a 6% expected move on NVIDIA. As Sharif mentioned, keep an eye on the margins. Probably going to be the kind of thing where you will see a bunch of beats, and then there might be one line. It could be the margin. I think that's probably a good place to look, where if it's just the slightest miss, you might get a bit of a sell the news event. It's pretty heavily shorted relative to any other large cap or mega cap company. It is the #1 in terms of notional short in there. So there's at least some chance that it could go, but I'm not expecting more than our expected move. We got 5.5 last time. I think we get 6. And we'll probably see some sympathy plays that we're very interested in tomorrow. And whether that's in the power end of this whole story, or it could just be in names like CoreWeave, names like Intel, to some extent AMD, the memory chip names as well, that we're going to move on sympathy for today. But the only place I'd be interested, interesting. Don't have to talk about all the other chips because Intel's actually on the run down there at the bottom. So we can talk about that then. No, it would be down at this double bottom, double barrel support at the low. Like if for some reason it gets down to there, then I think you can go for the reversion long, just anticipating a bit of an inside day. But this is not the one where we're back above yesterday's and prior day resistance levels and I want continuation. I think you've got other chip names, Intel included, that look a little better for that type of a long play. I even argue that AMD looks a little better. Like look at AMD. Like look at this liquidity grab yesterday and then reversion, and then if it breaks out. Does anybody think that if we get a breakaway day on the chips that NVIDIA has more upside today going into the earnings? I just feel like the other places are going to be a bit more juice.
So here we go. Despite posting strong numbers and beating estimates, NVIDIA has dropped the day after its last 3 earnings reports. After strong earnings, how does that look? Dropped 5.5% in February of 26. That's right here. So here's the great earnings report. There's the drop the very next day. November of 25. Here's the earnings report. Here's the drop the very next day. 5.5% in February, 3% in November. It's not been good. If you zoom out, the 5-day post-earnings trend has been even weaker. The stock has slid 7%, 2%, and 7% after the last 3 reports. So, on average, you're down more than 5% after 3 days of the last 3 reports, which have all been extreme beats and guide forwards. So, and NVIDIA is still up 20% on year to date, right? And so I think if you're and I just got that from Gemini. So again, some sort of Gemini posting 3 quadrillion billion tokens a month, and just did another one with that work. But yeah, so despite what we're expecting there, I'm wondering if this time it's actually time to change that narrative a little bit. We've already pulled back, as before into earnings, like this is that last earnings date right there into February 26th. If you sort of look to see what we've done there, we ramped up into earnings and then fell on earnings day, right? And then I fell the next day as well. And then eventually got pretty low, man. We were up to $202 the day before last earnings call. We dropped into 165. That's a pretty big drop there from earnings, pre-earnings day down to the lows. I mean, you're obviously cherry picking, but that's 15% just like that from last earnings call into their lows. And then, so what's different here? And here's the one for November. Same kind of thing, a nice run up the day before, and then it came right back in. So what you're gonna look for now is, it's almost the opposite here. You have NVIDIA upside, but then has given some back and actually has not, if earnings was this day, and we already made that run up, then it does look very, very similar to what we've seen here in February. So I would say that now you've already pulled back a little bit there off the top, getting ready for earnings. So I would almost expect a muted move. If generally speaking, we go to the downside 5%, that's not great, right? So if you take 10% off of 220, you're back at 200. So maybe we're back into this 210 area where I think is a buy. So if we do get a downside play there and you're not in it and you're looking for some kind of an area for potential support, yeah, man, into 210, I think that's what you can wait for today. So we'll see if that winds up happening, but the numbers don't lie. I just told you guys the last 3 reports, down 7, down 2, down 7. So not great there for NVIDIA, and I expect something very, very similar. A lot of froth in the space, but I think NVIDIA is the name you want to be in. So I'm not doing anything to my NVIDIA position, and won't be adding to it, won't be taking anything off. I mean, look, if it goes to 250 or something like that, and it really gets a little parabolic, and the move is more than we expected, then I could say, okay, let's maybe trim some. I probably won't, but at least that would be a decent idea there if it outpaces what it normally does, right? But
close to 250, I think there'll be a lot of people.
I mean, that's its high. What is its high? 242.
I feel like if we come in tomorrow morning and it's through the highs, at the open, I'd be thinking there'd be profit taking at 930. If it's at an all-time high, just given the way the stock is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That would be the only time that I would probably sell it if it got really, really interesting.
Speaking of selling, Target is going to have to.
Well, yeah.
Well, there's been some selling in Target this morning, but they're going to be possibly selling products for more expense or at higher prices now, more expensively.
Let's go find out.
Yeah, Target management flagged some cost concerns, specifically saying those costs are going to go up in Q2, though apparently getting some relief in the second half of the year. That came out during their call, but the earnings themselves, Sharif, quite strong for Target.
They were pretty good, Dara. Lots to talk about here. Basically underreported items. Let's talk about their revenue from sources outside of physical goods. Obviously, they sell a lot of physical goods, but their advertising business, as well as Target Marketplace and Target Circle 360. More on 360 in a second here. But those surged about 25% year over year, and those are much higher margin businesses than, the clothes and everything else they sell. Let's talk about Circle 360. So while store-originated sales, they grew a healthy 4.7% year over year. However, when you look at the digital comparable sales, up 8.9% year over year, and that's really being credited here to the 27% explosion year over year in same-day deliveries, and that's powered by their revamped Target 360 membership program. You have to pay for that. It's basically a recurring model. It's just like Amazon Prime almost. And then that they cut about 3,000 different products. They cut the prices on 3,000 different products. This was part of the new CEO, Michael Fidelki's kind of aggressive March rollout. A lot of people had feared that this would hurt margins. Funny enough, though, it actually expanded margins up from, what was it, 28.2% to 29%, and it actually increased the amount of people coming into the store. About 4.4% more individuals coming in year over year on the quarter. And then last but not least, that gap versus adjusted profit. You will recall last year that they had a one-line item that gave them an artificially high EPS. That's obviously not recurring this year, so the year-over-year comparisons, may not be immediately relevant, Adara.
Are you guys targeting any trades on TGT today?
Day trade, no. But you know what? Like, if you look at...
But are you targeting any?
Targeting?
You see that? You see that move?
Yeah.
Targeting any trades. I like that.
Well, sometimes you've got to just sort of lean in and target a man's ankle when you can't beat him. Shout out to the dirty OKC. Did you see that play?
No.
So
they went after Wemby?
So they're on the line.
Oh,
and,
no.
What's his name? Chet.
Holmgren.
Yeah, Chet Holmgren is kind of he's looking down at the Wemby's feet.
Another 7-footer.
But you can see him looking at Wemby's ankle, and then the second the foul shot goes up, he steps directly on his foot to try and. It's one of those old school man's ankle play. But if you see how he's focused on it, that's targeting. That's not the NFL
crazy.
Targeting, but anyways, I don't know. I just don't like that stuff. I know it happens. It's part of the game. But that whole try to injure the star player even subtly kind of stuff just bothers me.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah. Target. I'm not really seeing any trades there. But one thing I was able to find when looking at this one, if you go high enough time frame out, obviously there's going to be some concern that this is just they've done a nice little comeback here, but it's going to run out of steam like it has in the past. It hasn't done that well if you want to juxtapose that with Walmart, let's just say. But on a monthly chart, if we're zooming out far enough, this is on a breakout on the monthly of this trend. Right? The trend from the highs, which has been pretty well respected, it's on a 2-month breakout. So even if it were to dip, you could get right back into like 108 even, this support here, and then the trend line turns into possible support. Yeah, it's got a nice little dip area that if this is a bit of a blip, you can fall into some stuff where the continuation looks good here on a monthly chart for Target. So the turnaround, at least from this perspective on the monthly, any pullback here, even if it was 10%, would be a blip on the next monthly candle. Yeah, as long as it holds on to 110, I think some of that structure is going to be okay.
Talk about when there's a gap, you play it back to VWAP, and right in there, 125.50, 126, I think, is where you might look like a short. I mean, the numbers were good. Obviously, it was up about 1%. It wasn't like it was a huge number or anything like that. We closed yesterday at 127. We get up to 130, and then it goes whoopsies on a conference call where we just talked about some of those expenses getting added up there and a little bit of uncertainty moving forward. So for me, the ultimate, I'm wrong area is the 200 period moving average. So we'll wait till we get a little bit more data. We're not going to play this right off the jump, but if it does eventually, there it is. The people wanted Randy. The people have gotten Randy one more time. So there it is. Thank you, Randy. You ever shop at Target when you go down south, or? My kids love Target. I don't know what's up with that. I don't know why they do that, but Target a big thing. Target or Walmart? Which one do you think? Walmart. Yeah, Costco or Walmart? Both. Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah, we like that. So there it is. Sam's. I don't know how popular Sam's Club is, but it's a try, anyways. I think there's one in Brampton right now.
When we were in Florida, we went to.
I don't know.
My pops had a Sam's Club membership, and that's where we go shopping.
There it is. Okay, but yeah, so I think a short here into these levels is probably worth trying. Watch out for 127. That would be where I'd get out. I mean, yesterday's close is 127, so it's actually lining up quite nice. Right now for TGT. So thanks, Neil and Randy, for the coffees there. But there's the move down for Target. Yeah, look, it's a I looked it up. It's a 3.7% dividend, right? No dividend pretty much in Walmart or Costco, not to that extent. So, there are reasons to hold that if you're looking for different, tax opportunities or whatnot. I think that dividend yield is locked in and the yield's not guaranteed, but what they pay out is $4.56 a share. Annually. So you get $5 almost a share anyways, just for holding Target every year. And it's been such a great year. We talked about some of the other names. Target's really outpaced the rest of them this year, but maybe due for a little bit of a comeback. The reason why I sold my Target was I just don't know how strong the consumer is going to be moving forward if we don't get rate cuts. I know there's still a lot of credit card debt out there, and some. I don't know. I'm not going to say a statistic because I don't exactly know what it is, but it's an outrageous number. The amount of people that live paycheck to paycheck, it's way more, and it's actually like, it's sad, and it's not to anybody's fault. It's just this is how expensive things are getting right now. So those of us that live paycheck,
debt burden as well.
Yeah, and those of us that live paycheck to paycheck would know that how hard it is. So I'm just wondering if eventually that even gets maybe even worse, and it comes after some of these higher priced, and it's not like Target's bougie or anything like that, but it is higher priced than the Walmarts, than the Costco's. So I sold it thinking that, hey man, maybe the best days are behind them, but hey, if they're in front of them, that's great as well. We still have a small chunk, 25% of that position. So we're happy with Target. We'll see what winds up happening. I think where you wind up getting out is if you do, break this little shelf right there of 118. You could even get a little bit but do you want it to see if it go from 120? Like I was going to say, wait for the 200 period, but that's a buy area, not like oh my God, I'm getting out area. So I would say right now, if you do have similar thoughts about the economy and the consumer, then yeah, maybe this 117.50 area, if it gets bad, not today, let today settle down, but after day 3, if you can still manage to get a decent price out of it, I think that's worth it. I could see Target going back to the upside as well. So, but I'm going to use that 126 to 127 area as an area to possibly short. So, BBAI partners? Oh yeah, there is actually an announcement there on BBAI. Okay. BBAI partners with the Panama Canal. What? That's what somebody put in the chat. Let me just go see what exactly this story is here with Big Bear AI. We go into news here, and once it ever loads, we can get that to you, but it's not loading right now. Oh, there it is. Big Bear AI International Shipping Compliance announced first deployment of AI-powered supply chain security platform in Panama's dry canal. So see, this is like yesterday I did a little bit of a bull and bear case for those of you that were asking me about Big Bear AI, and this is part of the stuff that we're talking about, right? Government contracts, once they can get in there, they get a little sticky. They do have, the compliance sort of on check for that. They've been approved by the U.S. government as well. They just bought Pangium, so here's BB. I have no idea if it's probably not doing anything on that news, but yeah, there's a 388 doing nothing on that. But there it is, and like another story for Big Bear AI. I don't love this name anymore. I think we've talked about that over and over again. I'm stuck at.
Has been like some dilution with them?
Well, they have enough cash now, but yeah, they just made that acquisition, so they'll have to pay for that somehow, and yeah, that's part of the risk. But they have a couple $1 billion in cash or something like that. So Big Bear AI right now with that deal on Panama. So we'll see. Too bad that didn't say Strait of Hormuz, and then we get going a little bit there. But yeah, thanks for that update there. But it's not moving, so we'll go with that. Oh, you know a name that we bought recently that's actually doing quite well. We have to go back over the desk for the rundown. Actually, we really need to get to the rundown. But Oscar has really been blasting recently. So this is a name that we're long at $12 or $13 there on Oscar, and this name is again another one of those sort of parabolic plays right there where I often think I'm way over invested in so many different names, but then I see like, oh, I put some play money to work in Oscar, and all of a sudden play money becomes a double up. It becomes a decent holding there. But okay, we'll go back to the desk. We got Kava there. We had a nice little bowl situation yesterday for lunch, although the chicken, if they serve that at Kava, you may have sent it back.
Well, certainly don't have to send back this move to the upside here in CAVA. Apologize for the weird pun, but good look here for Kava's report. Strong revenue growth.
Very aggressive, 35.8% year-over-year top line number.
Oh, sorry, you're muted.
35.8% year-over-year increase on that top line number. That easily beats expectations of, 10.8%. The street was looking for a lot less than that. You also had the company raising their full-year same-store sales guidance 6.5% to 8.5%. Previous guide was markedly lower, 4.5% to 6.5%. Restaurant level margins did drop somewhat from 27.2 down to 25.7. They're not blaming it on demand destruction. What they're saying is there's a lot more competition out there. Expansion does remain aggressive there. They're adding 20 new openings in the quarter. So let's see what they do.
Good look for CAVA. Do you guys like it for a trade today?
Well, it has a triple-digit forward PE coming into this, and a triple-digit PE coming into this. This is Kava. Like, this is not, it's not ARM, right? Like, it's Kava. That's a bit much for it. What's the short float? Maybe the short float's better than I
don't think it's probably not significant.
11.7%. Probably, and most of that's probably because of the valuation, would be my guess. So, some of the stuff that you would apply to the consumer could be weighing on them in the future there. But I think if you're liking this long, it probably has more to do with momentum and short float than anything else, because that's just silly expensive, in my opinion. That said, it's up 11%, and you can do a heck of a lot worse than if it holds on to like the 84 level. That looks a little bit spicy. You won't hear me say, despite all that I like it as a short. Like, there's only one stock I'm looking short today, and it's Netflix. For different reasons, but no, it's silly expensive. So yeah, interesting trade, 11% to the upside. If you can hold on to this like 85 level, there's some room for some continuation. But man, I don't know. In this market, in this environment, would you be buying into this at 100 and whatever PE? Crazy for Kava. As I said, like the name I'm looking short is, we had reversal candles on a bunch of chip names. The opposite of that happened in Netflix yesterday. Like, Netflix put in that reversal candle, not V-shaped, but like A-shaped or whatever you want to call that. So like the bad looking Avenger sign yesterday on the 15-minute, like on the side of the Tony Stark's building there. So I like this one as a fade into 89.5 if you can even get there, or to just short pops into the highs. But Kava, I'll leave that one alone. Nice short float. I like the momentum, great, but that's way too pricey.
Yeah, I don't, we had seen for a long time Chipotle Mexican Grill really have that sort of outsized valuation as well. And, they haven't been doing a whole heck of a lot for a minute black screen of death right now. But there we go. If you go over to like a monthly chart of Chipotle, you see in the early days, man, this name was, again, it's split, so the pricing is going to be a little bit different. But, down here, 50 cents, 60 cents, $1.45, back in 2013, $5, made a nice bounce to $14, came all the way back down into $5 again in 2017, rips up, then winds up splitting up here to 60. Where's the split? Oh, it doesn't show the split in here. Winds up splitting, and then now it's right back down into $33. So I was just going to say, these crazy PEs and everything like that has definitely been part of the story for these, high growth and, names like a Chipotle Mexican Grill. So I think Kava is very, very similar. And if you're looking at a CMG, you're getting into some levels now. $30 looks like you may want to hold. This goes all the way back here into 2023. And we've wicked down here a couple times. So if Kava sort of bleeds out a little bit right there, what about looking at some CMG in and around $30? So that's just another name that you guys could have a quick look at. That's been, getting hit as of recently. I mean, this was $56 back in a year ago. So now you're all the way back in, getting chopped up a little bit. We'll see if that wants to hold 30. You see, it looks pretty good here on the daily. It just looked good on the monthly. So for me, I think CMG, potentially a good buy as well as Kava. But yeah, they're both starting to go. It just goes against we'll see what TJX has to say, a discounted retailer. But it was just kind of what I was saying about Target there versus TJX. If the consumer is getting a little weaker, maybe potentially getting a little weaker, I could see some more money flowing into TJX, which is kind of strange because CMG and Kava I think are relatively higher price levels for the food that you wind up getting. And but okay, let's go back and find out about TJX with only 6 minutes to go.
Chipotle ain't cheap.
TJX here, solid look for this company. We're talking about the management, and they certainly pulled out a great beat for TJX. You can see pumping higher right as the report was released.
Yeah, already kind of talked a lot about the off headline issue, so we'll just talk about the headline numbers this time. $1.71 EPS versus the 146 expected on revenue of 25.44 versus the 24.64 expected. In fact, this is the biggest beat that they've had since late 2021, not a moment too soon. Key numbers here were the comp same-store sales rose 5.6% year over year, and that actually ends a 5-quarter losing streak with the actual traffic, foot traffic as well, increasing 4.4% year over year. Digital remains strong, as we talked about. That's their higher margin product, and they're looking to sell basically get into the business, I should say, of selling things other than physical products. There are higher margins on those, about 25%. Not a bad look.
Do you guys think TJX is a winner from a trading perspective today?
It has the feel, but you know, the logic makes sense to me. Like, you know, for everything that's going on, what Sean was saying about the discounters and what we're seeing with the consumer under a lot of pressure. And someone just said in the chat, like, well, we haven't talked about Iran and oil yet this morning. That's got to be a good sign. I think that probably is a good sign. But if you think about those concerns, they have not gone anywhere. If we're being real about it, like, oil is still way too high, relatively speaking, and to the extent that maybe you'll get some extra flocking into a TJX, I can buy that logic. I'd say a little bit, like the extension today has already taken it into resistance. I wouldn't know how excited I'd be about that. But if it can reclaim the 50 after earnings, that would be, you know, give it the old 2-3 day rule. And then after the earnings, it reclaims that, holds above that 50 period moving average. But it's right there. We've already wicked that top and pulled back in the pre-market on extremely light volume. It's done 150,000 shares in volume. So this is, I'd say not much for a day trader there, but there's something in it if it can hold. We're on Wednesday, so I guess the 3-day rule lets you hold the week. So if you close the week above the 50 period moving average, then you like that one going into next week. But I would certainly wait for that, and not a day trade at all. Spread, if you love a $2 spread at 9:26 a.m. minutes before the open, I guess that's your bag, but that ain't mine.
All right, I was just looking at our Instagram.
Ooh, imbalances.
Right there. All right, yeah, the imbalance is coming out. All right, we can, let's go talk about Intel right now because we only have 3 minutes.
INTC, really strong morning for Intel. We know yesterday, report from Nikkei Asia coming out saying the company is urging major PC partners across a couple different countries to increase adoption of its 18A CPUs. I mean, Intel, looks like we could have another strong session. Yeah,
Wedbush kind of agreeing with that strategy as well. They said this strategy makes sense to us given Intel should be prioritizing higher margin Xeon products relative to its older nodes, especially with its ability to bring in a newer production. We'll have to see whether or not they can get the 14A out. We're talking about that as possibly one of Apple's tie-ups with Intel, the 14A node. Speaking about the 18E here, let's see how this one does today, Dara.
Yep. INTC and other chips on watch, guys.
I have Intel long here at 111. We'll see if that can come in. I have Tesla long at 404. I have the TQs long at 73.50 and IBIT long at 43.50. So I have like a risk on day despite the NASDAQ pulling back in. And so we'll see. You can go find this here at Trader TV. Sean, for those ideas. But yeah, up 5%. I just wanted to, look, that 111 might not hit. No idea. That's where we closed yesterday. That was a very aggressive target there. But you had seen yesterday what happened at the open. We had ripped basically up from 830. This is what happened at 930 yesterday. We went from 114 all the way down to 105. So we dropped $9 yesterday, which would put us right back into here, 108, 109 bucks, if not even lower than that. So I'm just thinking that, hey, on a day where we're up 5%, what was the difference, between those 2 days? Not much. We closed yesterday, 2 days ago at 107. We opened up at 114. That's a $7 bump. Right here, it's a $6 bump. There's the fall back in. Be very, very patient with Intel. I'm buying 111s, and I'm buying a shit ton of it if it gets down there. And yesterday, we had that short, man. Yesterday, on the sticky note, was almost the complete opposite. And this is what you have to do as a trader. Look at the levels and make your mind up. Well, yesterday, we had to short the TQs. We matched it. I just looked at the note. We matched it with Intel. So yesterday, we were actually short Intel up here. And then it pay dirt all the way to the downside. So we'll see. Yesterday, we were going short on the name. We'll see about going today, and we'll see if that winds up working. But we're looking long on dip buys for Intel, my number one trade idea with only a minute to go.
My note reads the same, except just 110. Because I like the prior close level.
Yeah.
I usually, if it's a prior close, I'll round to the dollar down as a support level to look for a bounce. There was an imbalance. It's not there anymore. AMC, if you care, Adam Aaron apparently bought some shares, and it's up a few percentage points there. Not really anything else on the locator. I think a few things popped and then immediately paired off. One of those was like Netflix already dropping. That will be a little bit frustrating because we wanted to short Netflix on a short the pop situation, but that just dropped about 60, 70 cents, looking weak. It's been one of those, someone asked in the chat, why does Netflix seem like it's reversed to the NASDAQ? I think it's just been this anti-AI trade sometimes, and I don't know why. It's not an obvious logic as to why that's going to be true, but certainly is. We're going to go to we hit the open in 20 seconds. We have a Dara for some news, and we'll take you into the open.
Incredibly quick, guys. The parliamentary speaker of Iran reportedly saying, quote, our military forces have used the ceasefire opportunity in the best way to build their strength. So it sounds like we have Iran's military basically saying, hey, we've actually gotten stronger during the ceasefire. Could be a rough look here. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Adara. So now we're starting to get opened up there. We'll see now. Look at this market again, just blasted to the high side there. One more time, trying to bounce off 29,000. We got to 29,120 right there again. Look at Intel, man, going completely the other way. It was just at 115. We were waiting for a $4 or $5 drop down. Instead, it goes $4 or $5 upside. So congratulations to Intel for that one. If I was looking short on that name, then we may be thinking about it right now. But I am not, so we're going to wait to see what's playing here. Oh, God, we have a bad wick here. I'm going to get that out. But there's falling right now pretty decently is, of course, NVIDIA, as you guys can see that. So I'm just going to make sure that I put this out there so we can see. There it is. So there's the nice move down there. Wow, okay, 221. I mean, this might be getting into a price here that we didn't think it would come into. So NVIDIA, oh, it's already through. Yeah, so I was actually looking at this. Unfortunately, I can't clean up all these wicks. It's really stupid. But there's the 200 period moving average trying to break lower. Watch out for 218 now on NVIDIA. Maybe it gets a little dirty down there. But I don't know. Intel's upside. NVIDIA's down. Tesla's another long that we wanted.
Tesla's through 410. Tesla now through 410. I was going to say
Google's blast.
But now through 410 there in Tesla. I got a wick there on that one as well. A few more of those this morning for sure. And then if you... I mean, what are you going to say? Micron, I guess, is going the other direction. A little bit surprised by that because when we see that ramp to the upside over there in AMD and Intel, kind of thought the memory would do a little bit better, but that's selling off pretty decently. Marvell to the upside, so Marvell, AMD, Intel upside, Micron, SNDK the other direction. Man, Netflix is really getting hit here. All right, Netflix, it's already down 2%. Maybe there'll be some kind of a join the short situation. Oh, and one more for you. We didn't really talk too much about crypto. Load. No gap fill to the upside here into these lows, which I think would have been a short. But if it comes into the prior close, I'll look for a reversion play in that. Might have to be really patient looking for some kind of a dip in Intel. I don't want to chase that move.
Yeah, 192.15 is the high for Marvell all time. So we're getting very, very close to an all-time high there on Marvell. Up huge, man. This has been an absolute monster play. We're up like 300% or something on this stupid Marvell stock. So it just keeps on going higher, as we had said there. And yeah, I have IBIT written down on the note at 43.50. So let's go have a quick look. So that could possibly be getting in. I realized that this was not updating. So now it's 77.2. I was stuck at 76.6 or something. But there it comes back in IBIT. So trying to break lower right now. So maybe we'd get this eventually down there at 43.50. Wow, Marvell is really off right now. SMR is okay. SMR is at $10. So this could be, wow. Intel's at 120 and going higher right now. SMR 10. So it could.
I think it's low. Like, isn't it low 8 though?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's low as here. What does it say on this sheet here?
I think it's like
885. 885, the low there for SMR. Wow. Intel might just be a punch through here. Like I don't. What was the story about Intel? More adoption of their 18A CPU.
Yep. It's actually from yesterday, too.
Yeah. So good inventory there, more buzz around the company. And if you're looking for help, they're out there promoting their chip fab. So, you know, there it goes up. Wow. Darn, that 120, man, that was a spot potentially right there. Have to wait for a little bit of a pullback. NASDAQ coming into pre-market highs again. Those haven't been horrible short ideas, especially with such a big with such a big earnings report coming through. We could see something happening there. But what about just a 120 break? I think that would be something that we might be able to focus on just real quickly for Intel. I'm going to try it small. Like half a unit, see if we can get it going. Half a unit could be good enough if we wind up holding it. That low just stopped at 119, so maybe this is worth $1. We'll see what winds up happening here with Intel, but already up 8%. Can we see 10%? I mean, that's what we would need to make this a decent trade. I'm not sure it's in it, but I'm going to try it anyways. Key break, 120. I like those psychological levels. If we fall back down $1 off of that, then we're going to punch out. So that's going to be my initial risk coming through on that trade. Let's see what happens with Intel.
Yeah, it's
an absolute monster.
Absolute monster at this point. But don't sleep on AMD's up 4 points. I guess 4 points doesn't seem very good when you're looking at Intel and when you're looking at Marvell and what they're doing. Marvel.
It is a marvel.
It is a marvel. It's completely insane, some of these chips. Netflix is still looking incredibly weak here, but it's making its first bounce. So if it holds 87.6, about is that low, I just want to be short into pre-market support and yesterday's bottom. So I'm sitting on the offer. It can easily snap up. It's only 5 minutes in. So this snapping 50, 60 pennies to pick me up isn't necessarily impossible. And then looking at Bitcoin here, it's still in the process of filling in the gap into prior highs, like yesterday's highs. So that's still very, very early in the game. And then ARM. We talked a lot of chip names, but ARM is another one. That's up 7.5%, up to $240. So you've got the trifecta. Well, the quartet, I should say. Trifecta. If we're including ARM, then that's 4 of them, including Marvell. The only time this has been above was that wick on earnings. This is in some ways a bit of a breakout on ARM. I'd still rather buy dips in Intel than ARM. If I'm picking one today, that's the one. I want to stick with Intel. If we can maybe catch something pulling back in either VWAP or the prior high, that'd be a way to join the move without having to chase it too far. There was something, what was it, that halted? Oh, never mind. That's not a
mod.
Yeah, but that's not.
I
thought
mod.
it was something else. The mod's done no volume. The big small cappers that were the runners, but Poet kind of lost a bid here. So, and Poet's under VWAP, not interested until it gets back above.
Yeah, whatever Marvell's on, I'll take 2 cups of that because that's up 7% right now. After up 7% yesterday as well. Marvell got some good news from Amazon yesterday. That's starting to go upside. Wow, what a we talked about. I just wasn't feeling the short, but Intel, I'm going to cancel now my 120 buy. That doesn't seem like that's going to happen anymore as Intel pulling back in quite aggressively, I would say right now, is INTC right back into VWAP and actually through right now VWAP and coming back into your 50 period moving average is Intel. So why don't you like BB? No, I'm not out. I don't have a huge position. It's at $4.20. I will talk about BBAI. I've sort of done that in the pre-market. I will do it again. The reason why I don't like, and I won't go into details right now, but I'm feeling like it should be moving a little bit more than it is right now in some of these software names. I mean, let's look at BBAI. It was what we call BBAI as opposed to Palantir, Baby Palantir. This is down 2%, going lower, right? These guys are basically the mature big, they have all the contracts, all the talk. The president even tweeted out the symbol of Palantir, which is completely crazy when you think about, if you actually look into some of the stuff that president's, account and, what he's been doing and stuff like that. And it's still not going up. So, he tweets out Dell, and the next thing you know, he tells everyone to buy a Dell. This thing's up 40% or something. So those are situations that I'm talking, not 40%. From here, 215 up to 260 on something like that. Palantir just not going. I don't see BBAI having the same love as that. And you can see right there, nice move on the Panama deal, but then right back in now as well. All right, I don't know. IBIT maybe. I'm just looking to see what's coming in because I'm waiting for some key levels to start hitting here. Okay, so 43.60. What? I'm not bidding IBIT. I wrote down.
Trump's talking right now. I just quickly want to say Trump is currently speaking
Okay.
outside. He's also saying there was a fantastic economic report yesterday. I do not know what report he was referring to.
Pending home sales? Wasn't that what it was? Maybe.
You bet he wouldn't have
I don't know.
would
I
he comment
mean,
on
he's the president he's stock market president. That's for sure.
That's just a
He
weird.
loves everything about that. Yeah, he's
First
talking.
president to ever talk about pending home sales.
Oh wow! By the way, yeah, exactly. Well, maybe I don't know.
Well, okay, that's not probably empirically.
No. Biden's probably wasn't too worried about it. Look at ARM. Money. Damn! Now we're up 20% in a week. Like, these are the things that we're talking about. Like, if you can find these levels, there goes ARM right now breaking through. It can't be all-time highs because it did hit this after earnings, but all-time high closing price has been smashed.
To me, that's an alt.
Yeah, right now there's 235. See you later, man. Hopefully now GA can break a hockey stick and we can pay for it. There goes ARM up 9% right there. Again, wow, did not even see that one. And I was just looking around, right? We talked about some names that could benefit from a good NVIDIA story. Check ARM out there as well. Now up 10% and ARM is rocking. The market's pulling back, so get ready here as we get the TQs coming back into 73.50. We get Google coming back in right now as well. There's lots of trading opportunities here in this space. Google might be par for the course right here at 389. Potential risk on right now at this level.
Super chat about Alpha. We'll get to that in a quick little second, but we're coming back into the crazy 88s for Netflix. So I just saw it do. Oh goodness, let me zoom in there. Just saw it do a bit of an over/under at VWAP. Was able to get some out at the 80s, but if this breaks the 88, I'm going to wait for 88.5. Could just be a little bit early on that one. Elf must be. Are they after the bell today? Okay, yeah, I was going to say like Elf. What is there some? You know what? There's got to be another cosmetics that's usually before the bell. In my mind, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Instead. Yeah. Okay.
Ulta?
Either,
I don't know.
It could be. No, I think it could be.
I'm just throwing shit.
It doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, Elf. I'll say the same thing I say about any falling knife. I wouldn't want to cash them. That's not the game.
Here we go.
Let it show a break. Like the stock has been making fresh lows forever. So, if it wants to hold on earnings, great. But even then, I wouldn't care about a one-day move to the upside on Elf when it's been down that long.
All right. Generally, that means new position. So first position for me right now is Google. I mean, I just said let's go for it. We tried it. We're out of about 30% here. We're looking to get out of a little bit more, but you can see where these levels are. They're kind of just like opening up. So I'm going to give this to 388. Oh, yes, 388. Okay, there we go. 2 times daily goal met. We talked about that already. All right, let's go, man. There's a nice move higher here on Google. Let's effing go, man. We are, as Neil said, man, let's put in the reps, man. Put in the reps. Take positions to the point where, it's a little uncomfortable for you. And there it goes, man. Thanks to Joe also for that advice yesterday. You can't make money if you're going to sit here and baby stuff around. There it goes, Google. Let's go, man. So I'm trying to get a little bit comfortable with this kind of share size. And it's always nice when it works out. It's horrible when it doesn't. So you got to make sure that you do capture those profits when this stuff goes. We always talk about that, man. Just try to stay in your trade because look how fast this name can come out. So there it goes. Just upside right there. Good thing we emptied out a little bit up there at that 390 marker because here it comes right back in. Google's actually not acting that good today, considering how the market's moving around.
Bitcoin.
Yeah. Oh, Bitcoin just went down. Okay.
Well,
so
I was about to punch the trend break on Bitcoin, and I think you said it's turning right back around.
Yeah.
And the sellers just came in. So I'll quickly show you. I got a reload on Netflix at that 88 level, and they came back under VWAP, didn't take it. This is going opposite of the market. But it was right about to break the trend line, like right here, and then slam. They just slammed it right back underneath. So I'm looking for that long on the trend break here in IBIT because we're at the prior day close. Prior day low highs, I should say. Maybe not the close exactly. But that just immediately had some sellers go in. But reloading Netflix, once it's closing underneath VWAP, you're not really getting a convincing secondary flush, so I should be scalping some.
There it goes.
Got to be able to do that in this market. The NASDAQ's still kind of flattish, but it's above VWAP for now. And that NASDAQ up has usually meant Netflix down, so that would be a good thing.
there's a lot of pressure to these names.
The
We're going to, I don't know, we're going to probably lose this bid.
Trump was just saying that he's in no hurry with Iran.
Okay. Google's going to come out soon, so it will wind up being flat. It looks like close to enough on the name anyways. Thanks, Adara, for all that. Here comes Google right back into the lows of the day. We're going to, I mean, you know what? Now that now that we've actually taken some profit, we could wait. It drops out through 388.50. We get out there. Look at it dropping now. I was going to say maybe we could wait for that 50 period, but breaking the day's low there is also a problem. So, Trump saying Iran is decimated and all this stuff. Okay, what else is new on that front? There's Micron falling back in, now down 3%. Could be a problem there. The market's really coming back here. So the TQQs, you mentioned Bitcoin there. I mean, we have the same sort of levels looking at there. What was my play on this?
About to break the low, Bitcoin.
Oh, okay, not great.
That's not looking like a long yet on Bitcoin at all. But you know what's actually coming? Oh, come on. I got rid of them. Sorry about the wicks on these. There's a lot of dark pool wicks on NVIDIA this morning, but what's actually off the lows here is going to be NVIDIA. So as you're pulling back in a lot of other places, the chip names are starting to roar back in. AMD still looks pretty strong in here. Come on, break this dude on Netflix. There it is. Okay, so this is it's starting to break underneath VWAP. I want to hold some for the LOD, and there's no real, like a lot of times I'll be like, oh, there's some chop in here, we want to get out. But once this guy's broken, I'm really starting to think about yesterday, or 2 days ago, support, which is a lot closer to the 87 even level. That's what I didn't talk about. Cerebras, I'm done with looking for shorts on that thing. I might think that that's overvalued, CBRS, but no, it doesn't matter what you think. This stock is a rocket. It's up another 10 points today and broke the 330 level. So the only place I'd consider, I'll pay for locates if this gets back above $350 where the IPO opened up.
All right, we just I took it, man. I'm happy with what Bitcoin's doing at this level. So unfortunately, we did get. I mean, now Google's right back up, so to sort of where we were at 389 again. So we'll have to watch out for that one. But here we go, man. We'll make it back right now with this name, IBIT. It came into our level. We wanted 43.50. We took 43.50. So here we go. There it is. Yes, sir. Let's go. Nice little move there for IBIT. We'll see how far this one wants to get upside there as we just stick to the plan, man. We had IBIT written down here at 43.50. It comes into 43.50, so I'm going to take it. The market's now blasting into the highs as well. The other name, so we'll be flat on the day because of that Google. But the TQs, man, we wrote down 73.50. That came into 73.70s as that's trying to get right back up to the highs as well. I actually think Google's going to be a short at some point. I don't want to short the name. I mean, I think there's so many catalysts that could run this thing. But the fact that we're not doing anything as the market goes back to the highs is a little worrisome for that trade. So we're out of Google. I'm pretty happy. Okay, I'm going to get out another little bit here at 67 if we can. Right there. I was actually thinking about pushing NVIDIA 223. Well, I guess now it's a little bit under that. Maybe this level then, 222.50. On a break higher for NVIDIA. So if that does happen, I'm thinking we can get some momentum back into the name. There it is, man. There's a dime piece. We love dime pieces. Out on IBIT right there. So let's see if that one can get going. So we'll be flat on the day after missing out on Google there. Could have got it out way earlier. We should have. As I said, we are doing quite well on that trade initially. And then IBIT now, we'll see if we can hold out on that and see if it continues to climb a little bit higher. And then honestly, thinking about buying some NVIDIA on that 2250 break. 222.50 break. I think we'll try some of that.
I'm actually looking over at Intel, but told you where the stop was going to be. Got to get out of Netflix. We'll stay green on it, but it's a bear flag that's getting broken back out to the upside. Cannot hold on to it. It needs to get back to at least 88.5, maybe into the meat of yesterday's lows, and then re-engage the trade. Still relatively bearish on them compared to the rest of the market. And nothing's really changed. It's down 1%. Intel's trying to claw back above the volume-weighted average price. I'm not opposed to getting that one above VWAP, but it's starting to look like false breakish there on INTC. Not a huge fan of chasing that $2-3. Just want to make sure we keep things in pocket on that one. And I do, like I said, on CBRS, it is a possibility. It got to 338. If it did get to 350, which was at open price, I'd pay for locates and look for some kind of reversion, at least at that point on that bad boy. But so far, 1 for 1, still looking for that secondary trade. Thought we'd be in Intel, but Intel didn't do the dip buy into 110, and it's still looking a little bit weak for now.
Yeah, we had Intel at 111, but it's not hitting.
It's not.
And then the only thing that hit for me was IBIT. So, we only have 1, 2, 3, 4 ideas written down here today. We got excited about Google. I thought there was going to be some decent value there in Google. But there it is right there, IBIT 40. You can see the post. IBIT 43.50 right into there long. I thought it was getting stable around that 76,000 mark. We'll wait for yesterday's close price. It comes in, so we take it, and that's going to be. I'm just flat on the day because of what we wound up losing. Well, hopefully up on the day, but after what we wound up losing there on Google, we're getting close to getting into NVIDIA. I mean, I honestly, let's see a battle through VWAP now. It's gonna obviously it's gonna have to take it for me to get long, so that's what we're doing. 222.50 right there. If we break, we'll take it, and I'm only giving this one to 222. I'm not letting this one breathe too much, man. Like it's could get really whippy here. So I'm going to take a decent amount of shares and then only give it 50 cents. So if you guys have a different stop than me, then that would be cool by me too. Whatever you guys want to do. Palantir was making a downside play, and there it goes. As we remember, we were talking about BBAI. Why would I want that when Palantir is tanking? And then all of a sudden now Palantir says, okay, we'll go a little upside there. So PLTR going. We did have, Poet was up 13, 14, 15% or so in the pre-market. Yeah, so that's fallen back in there. So I don't know what Luis's story is, but I always say the 200 period moving average. We actually talked about that. So hopefully you guys were able to get something long down there at 1420. You know, when we had Luis on, we sort of mentioned that 3-day. I like that sort of a talk, but there's the drop right into my level of the 200 period. Let's see if it winds up holding. Poet not really having the moves I think that maybe some of you would wanted, but we'll see.
Tesla's losing.
Oh, is it? And then Target, by the way, yeah. Still don't like holding on to 25% of it, but hey, I made that decision. There we go, down to 117 now. Target down 8%, man. Not going well. And by the way, NVIDIA is going the other way as this market's...
Everything is.
Yeah, exactly. As the market's coming well in right there. So we bounce off that 222.50. I'm still going to take it if it goes back up to the upside, but we'll wait on that one. And let's get out of a little bit more Bitcoin now, just in case it does follow the way of the dodo bird here. We got out some at 43.69 right there for 12 cents. Our best out is right there at your 200 period of 78. So, I mean, that was a pretty good one there. We'll put another offer at 43.75.
Yeah, Tesla was. Oh, now
I like Tesla though.
It's trying to battle here at VWAP. Like you're seeing the buyers start to come back into it. This was one of those. I had to stay zoomed in because there's a dark pool wick on the other side there. But if it can close VWAP, hold that line. I want to try to catch it on like that green candle on the other side. And then of course, as that's battling, sellers are still coming in there. You're getting this VWAP hold on Intel. So Intel's busted through. So you look at Tesla, and then you get this 118 break that's actually looming here on Intel. So I'll try to jump into this in Tesla for the long side, both looking at that VWAP. If you're not going to get the dip, the first place I'm going to look long, generally speaking on an uptrend, is going to be that volume weighted average price. Look at Tesla. They immediately reversed that on Tesla. So Intel with the hold of VWAP, so I end up still getting that breakout price, but if you lose the trend line, there's gonna be some shorts in here. And speaking of which, I gotta get back into, not done with you, Netflix. Netflix is close to that 88.5. That's the second place that I want that short. I'm bearish on Netflix today. I just gotta wait for that opportunity to take the second shot.
I mean, I like those prices around there at 88. I mean, when we've looked at the chart.
I own Netflix in the long term. I have not sold Netflix in the long term. Maybe I should have. You can make the argument that it was a sell at $100, but I didn't do so. But short term here, I'm thinking short. I'm thinking short. I like Netflix. I think there's a lot of good for them, especially with NFL coming. They got that Packers game on Wednesday before Thanksgiving, so there are going to be some good opportunities there. That Jake Paul fight had an average, or that card had an average of 13 million viewers. So I don't know what UFC averages there, but that was pretty good for pretty good, I would
for their first time on Netflix. Peak viewership 17 million. Average viewership of one of the worst cards was over 13 million. So that was.
I have no idea. I only knew like.
Yeah, I watched
the names.
So. All right. So. Broadcom pulling back. I mean, Broadcom could be a buy at these levels as well. I mean, it's really trying to base out right. The chart goes right there, trying to maybe giving us a little bit of a low look there for Broadcom, up 0.5% when the market's up also 0.5%. Let's throw up the indicator there, we can see what other traders are looking at if you have it over there, Andre, the whatever that board is called again, the visualizer. That's what we're looking for there. So, all right, so everyone wants, I mean, I already have that play on NVIDIA. If it breaks 220, 250, we're going to go long there. Micron pulling back, but now up 3% as I can see on that board.
Intel just lost the trend
Intel's
line.
at 115. Yeah, I can see that right there.
No, it's not.
Oh, maybe that's not updated?
No, because I just got it at 17.
Oh, okay, okay.
You know what? It's
maybe
probably
needs to be refreshed.
delayed.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll figure that part out. Don't worry about the prices that are on there.
Yeah, they're all
Apple looks like it broke through 330. Okay, here comes NVIDIA. You could talk about your Intel, but I'm going to go long NVIDIA right now at 222.50.
Yeah, it just broke the prior bar. So whether I'm holding trend or taking a trend break trade, I'm usually going to use that prior bar as an exit. So there's your trend line. It breaks the bar, so I'm going to be out of it. I am back into that Netflix, but it's exactly where it was when I got in. So that hasn't really changed on NFLX. And you don't want to see it in Blue Ocean, or maybe you do want to see it in Blue Ocean. Now I have to wait for that to load up. Oh. Yeah, who cares about Blue Ocean? No, it's right back to where we got in. There was this topping tail candle in here on Netflix, which for me, I like that as an entry point. When you get a topping tail candle, I try to short the body, play this one back into the volume weighted average price. Gonna stay relatively bearish on them. Not forever. If this bounces clean off of VWAP, then that's putting higher lows off of the volume weighted average price, and I'll respect that if that's gonna be the case. But I wanna stick to, Tesla. There we go. Tesla, Intel were the plan of action, and then Netflix was going to be that short. And the outside chance it's Cerebras if it gets up to $350. That's that IPO open price for them. If it gets up there, I'd look for some kind of a fail break. Like break 350, fail back underneath, short on the way back through. That kind of a play.
Yeah, I think that's what we have to wind up doing today. I mean, the market's been very, very choppy. So. But not for A-Lab owners. Wow, up to 270 today. You know, we always talk about unabated to the quarterback. This is unabated to all-time highs. Again, monster move yesterday from 210 to 240, 240 to 270, and right into here, we watch out for this 250 marker. We've already ticked this high before, up to 265, but now you're well through that, well, not well through it, I guess, into 270, looking for a potential hold spot here. But here, this is another one of those names where it's like, okay, back April 1st, this was $100. Now it's 270, so you know, maybe time to get a little, I don't know, frugal with A-Lab and potentially look to take something out of that name. But hey, up to you, man. If I gave you that advice 3 days ago, you'd be punching me in the face. All right, we managed to watch out for Google there. It's just like we talk about having those instincts and everything, and it's like we had mentioned, like, hey, man, Google's really having a trouble here. It's probably a short. There goes Google. I'm going to cancel my NVIDIA for now at that 220 because it's getting lower. Damn you, Google. We'd sniff that one out. So we try to, so, you know, whenever we wind up losing, it's because like we get undisciplined and we stop following some of the rules. I was looking risk on today, but like this Google trade, definitely I had the ability to short that, should have shorted it, talked about shorting it, and it didn't do it. So I'm a little bit upset that we're not short on Google, but there it goes, man. At least we got out at 388.50. We didn't even take that big of a hit on this name because we were able to take money off of it. And there it goes right back down into the downside now. So for me, you know, I stamped that for myself of trying to make money, and that was a great opportunity there. And we should have gone for that. So we'll look at that in a couple minutes. And then the other name that I think could fall back in, if it does, and we're not quite there yet, is maybe we just got it there. That was 408.50 for Tesla at your 200 period moving average. So a potential look there as well for TSLA. Trying to be patient, but I didn't even realize it, man. It's almost 10 o'clock.
We're about to get that second 15-minute candle if you're into that sort of thing.
Which I'm not, but it's just how we're coming into right now. I just didn't realize we were 25 minutes in already. But all right, Adara's got something, and then we'll come back to some more plays.
I'll see you guys what's happening now in a minute, but in the meantime, I should let you guys know I'm seeing more comments coming out of the Middle East, unfortunately suggesting more tensions. We know that Iran, or the parliamentary speaker, Galbaf of Iran, rather, already saying that, hey, we're out here and we are using the ceasefire as an opportunity to prepare weapons, to prepare for more attack. At the same time, now we're getting comments from the chief of staff of Israel's IDF, so their military, saying, quote, at this moment, the IDF is on the highest level of alert and is prepared for any possible development. So sounds like tensions are still high, unfortunately. Back to you.
Tensions high. Where have we heard this before?
Like all.
It's just we're a minute away from obliterating them, and
Well, I mean, this guy's out here one day saying, okay, you know, no, we're not going to bomb them. We're going to hold off on that. And the very next day, he's like, we've obliterated them, and you know, we'll do it again. I just feel like it's a lot of rhetoric, and it's a lot of, I mean, how's it worked so far? He came out and said that, we heard this yesterday, that the people of America were really happy with this war. You guys tell us. We could actually, we should put a poll up.
I'm not happy with
Can we put a poll up in YouTube, actually? I don't know exactly how to word it. But I'm just kind of thinking like...
I think what he actually said was that not all the people are happy, but I'm happy with it. So I think that was another comment that was made yesterday,
Okay,
I believe.
He did say something about the people of America, though. He said a lot... Oh, okay.
Because oil prices, man, like if oil's at highs, no one's happy with that. I don't care who's in power.
It's part of the game.
If you're paying that much for oil, and that's hurting people, again, we talked about that paycheck, that's going to put a damper on some of the retail names.
How much an expensive
Watching
gas?
USO, though, here's where I'd be concerned today, that this little topping tail wick could get a little bit worse, if we start breaking above the 150. It's a nice gap down in USO. Like the top end of the range got rejected. I just don't want to see us above 150 today. You get some kind of a spike, and that's going to look a little bit nasty. And like I really should have. Round numbers are round numbers. Now I'm getting that the slight FOMO in Cerberus, because it did do that topping tail, and it was probably a short back through the low here instead of thinking about the 350. Level, but it's still bull flag. It did this yesterday and then broke higher. So if it does the same thing and breaks higher, a similar move would take it into $350, which if you're wondering why does that matter, that's where it opened up on whatever day that was. It was Friday, I guess, and Thursday. The IPO opened at exactly $350. So it gets to that price, and that's where I'd look for the turn. But USO, watch for that 150 level. If we start breaking out above there, this market's not going to like it one bit a day.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, we're waiting here. Happening now, guys. I just want to let you know as well. The quote, I just looked it up, was, quote, people tell me it's unpopular, but I think it's very popular, the conflict in Iran. So that was the quote, at least as of yesterday. There could be others, but that was the main one here in terms of he's thinking that it's very popular, even though he's being told it's unpopular, the conflict in Iran. So that's President Trump. Let's talk here about the SPY, which... First 2 50-minute candles, you get a big wick to the downside, then you get a big wick to the upside. And as of right now, maybe trying to pick a direction here for that S&P 500. NASDAQ, once again, not looking exactly identical to the SPY. We briefly broke above that pre-market high, and the second 15-minute candle right now pushing a little bit lower. I would be remiss if I did not remind you guys once again, NVIDIA earnings after the bell. We'll cover them for you guys right here at Trader TV Live. So please do not miss it. We will be right here waiting for those numbers to come out. I think it's worth noting here, we also had a report from the Financial Times suggesting that China has actually banned NVIDIA's gaming chip during Jensen Huang's visit to the country last week. So not only did they not get any kind of chip deal, they actually got another chip banned as a result of Jensen Huang coming to visit Beijing. Keep an eye here on MU as well. Micron made some comments here at this JP Morgan conference earlier today, saying their financial outlook has strengthened since their last call, and they expect tightness here for HBM, DRAM, and NAND to continue beyond 2026. Other tech names in play here, INTC has been really hot lately. Nice gap up, push higher. Gave it back, now trying to continue the upside. Let's see what happens at 120. And again, we have to keep an eye on USO. You're getting comments from Iran suggesting that they use the ceasefire as an opportunity to basically prepare for more conflict, and Israel also saying that they're waiting at any moment. Lots happening here in the Middle East, lots happening in big tech. Stick with us every day, all day at Trader TV Live. Back to you.
Well, thanks, Dara, but that's pretty much what I was getting at, right? Like a lot of people feel like it's popular. So that's why I wanted to ask what everybody thought. But I see in the chat, I mean, it's kind of 50-50. So I'm still going to take NVIDIA. I actually re-looked at that. I'm still going to take a 222 break, 222.50 break. It actually just stopped pretty much on that, not pretty much, it looks like it stopped exactly at that level. So glad we didn't get punched in this time because we'd be out 30 cents. But this is the plan, and I already have the stop order set if I do get in. I'm only going to risk this 50 cents back down in. So right now, there's the rejection. Here it comes right back into VWAP. This could actually be a buy if I was overly biased towards the long here on NVIDIA. But honestly, like in the way I saw Google move and the way Intel's trying to pull back a little bit there. I'm going to just wait for NVIDIA. Hopefully it does crack that level and we'll be able to get long and then, take 50 cents worth of risk. I really think that if NVIDIA gets going, this could be a 224, definitely a 223.50. Like, I think it's worth $1 if it does break. But look at that, man. We nailed the level. It just was bias long, sorry. So there's the short at the level that we talked about. It's just, I don't have that because I never wanted it. So I'm only looking long, 22.50. I'm still going to take it if it breaks. Look at Palantir, man.
Nasdaq looks like it's breaking down.
Yeah, I know, and that's like NASDAQ looks like it wants to go down, but it was still flat. NASDAQ actually looks like nothing, actually, right now. But underneath, VWAP would give me that favor to the short for the NASDAQ. I'm still waiting down here. We just missed our bid by 20 cents. So if the NASDAQ does come back down into this level, I'll be sitting there with open arms and see if we can get a little long. Because I still think that, with NVIDIA earnings happening today, it still should help with the overall market sentiment as well. Okay, here we go. Look at this. There's Intel finally. So I don't have this trade on, right? Breaking through 120. I don't have it. It was not a level it was definitely a level that I looked at, but not one that we were willing to take. So there goes Intel. I liked it a little bit better earlier, just, on this momentum, but it has momentum again. So this could be a decent look. Instead of me sort of obsessing over NVIDIA, maybe it's this Intel break long there that may eventually wind up paying the piper. So we'll wait to see, but there goes Intel. Beautiful long there through 120. Let's see if it winds up holding. Congrats to buy that.
It's at the highs.
Yeah.
AMD's at the high.
Man. There we go. So
Marvell's almost at the highs.
Ooh.
Marvell's basically at the highs. They're all like these bull flags that are just setting up to go. I feel like it's going to take another leg. Yeah, I feel like it's going to take another leg up in the market to get Netflix down, if that makes any sense, right? Like, it's been a little bit counter trend, but one that's not going. I see all these other momentum AI plays going to the upside, and here's like CBRS looking like it wants to break down. So I'm going to look for the VWAP trade here on Cerebras. Just understanding yesterday, this consolidated under VWAP and broke back higher. So I'm looking for, like right now, it looks like it's breaking lower. So I'm going to take the shot at this one underneath the volume weighted average price, but understanding that it's relatively tight stop in here. If I get the 26 to 27, I don't think I want to let it fly through 330. And so like on this stock, like a couple of bucks is a tight stop on Cerebras.
We didn't get IREN yesterday, but we did get CEG, and we'll talk about that when we come back. What would your trading look like if capital wasn't a constraint? That's the reality for most traders. It's not skill holding them back. It is the size. Trade the Pool changes that. Step into the U.S. equity markets with up to $200,000 in buying power without committing your own capital. NVIDIA might break 222.50 coming up. Full access to stocks, ETFs, long or short. Execute with precision and freedom that serious traders expect. Your performance is measured by one standard, discipline and risk management, and allows you to operate, of course, at scale. There goes NVIDIA breaking through 222.50 right now. We put our stop order in. No subscriptions, no ongoing obligations, just a clear path forward. That's Trade the Pool. For those that are ready to trade beyond limitations, this is the next level for you. Visit tradethepool.com, one word, and use Trader TV, one word. Again, Trader TV to get your 10% off. We want to thank Trade the Pool for their continued sponsorship and great guests that they provide to us all the time on this #1 trading show in the damn universe. So thank you to Trade the Pool for that, and thank you everybody for watching all of us every single day and hopefully enjoying said content. Okay, man, we do have that long in NVIDIA. It is trying to slow down just a bit. Let's take something out at 65 right there. We'll now wait to see how high we can fly. We're in the 80s now with NVIDIA, so maybe we do get that bump up there. We did say that, hey, this was the trade we wanted. We waited for it. We did go patient level there. And yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to do, is be patient with these trades, see if it works. There we go. We get a 79. So that's our out rate there. We'll see how high we can fly now. It's a 50 cents worth of risk. So hopefully we can get that. And there's the pushback right back in again. So we're only out of about 20% there. Let's see if this one wants to go. We're going to give it a little bit of room now. My next offer is at 23, and then we'll go to 23.50 for that 2-to-1, and we'll see what winds up happening. But right there, the R to R is almost there if you did want that. So so far, so good on this one, and we'll wait to see what happens with IBIT. We got another out there at VWAP, so we're waiting for that one. Only 2 positions for your boy over here.
Yeah, I was suspecting it was going to take a push up in the market, as you see with NVIDIA and the other chip names, to get Netflix to go in the other direction. when the market was going down, Netflix was coming up, and now that you're getting a bit of a reversal of that, it just pulled back into VWAP, takes them out there. It'll look better for a reload, in my opinion, if it breaks the volume-weighted average price and puts in a lower high. Hey, sometimes it doesn't let me.
Oh my God!
Now I can, because when this lost VWAP in the afternoon, it just trended down. So I'd rather look at this as like some kind of a trend down where I'm shorting lower highs and staying bearish on this name. Like really, the only day I have not shorted Cerberus. Cerberus is now down $10, so I'm probably not going to cash that one at all. Bye-bye. Thought maybe that push up in the market was going to get us short that, but we'll have to hang on Netflix. I'm looking low a day at this point.
All right, man. There it goes. We talked about being on a little bit. Quite the nice heater yesterday, that's for sure. And here we go with that NVIDIA one more time there. We were very, very patient with this trade, man. We waited for that 220, 250 break. We were talking about this for 40 minutes. And there it goes right now. It's your face slapper right there for NVDA, man. We're going to wait to see if we get something out at 223.20s. But there it goes again, man. Let's go. We're here every single day. Let's go. There goes NVIDIA. Keep going, keep going, keep going. We're right back into where we were when we had that Google trade. So far, so good here on NVDA as we put up and hopefully we'll shut up soon. But there it goes. Nice move on NVIDIA. Now 70 cents in the money with 50 cents worth of risk. So boom, shakalaka, laga, laga, as it continues to heat up around here for NVDA and said trading of that. IBIT still 12 cents in the money as well. Oh. Yo, what's going on, Randy? Hope you're doing well as well. But yeah, you've mentioned Randy, NVIDIA. You mentioned AMD yesterday as well in the data centers. But for now, it's AMD's day to shine, I think. AMD's up more, I believe, than NVIDIA today. Yes, it is. AMD up 6% right there. So making us look silly, they're not trading this. But what are you going to do? I wasn't, like, that break was going to be better than NVIDIA.
Oh, but I know AMD's having
I can't complain. Yeah.
ARM is up 15%.
Yes!
Intel's up 10%. Marvell's up 8%. Yeah, a little bit. Micron's only up 2%, so I guess that's disappointing. And
ARM is up 15%.
15% for ARM. Glad you joined the ARM army.
Yes, I did.
Because I love this stock. I'll tell you this right now. The biggest mistake I ever made, not true, but one of the biggest mistakes I ever made investing is I very rarely like IPOs on the IPO day. And this is one of the stocks I'm like, I want to own this company, but I was completely convinced it was going to fall and didn't buy it at the IPO and ended up paying, I don't think I got in until it was breaking $80 when you could have had this thing at like 45, 50 bucks to jump in. So if you do like it, and I'm not buying SpaceX. That's a different, I might even be, I'm not buying SpaceX, but if you do like something, sometimes just getting in and take a little bit, get in 20%. That's an option. You don't have to get all in at one particular price. It doesn't have to be that way. Netflix is starting to push into the low, but I'm taking the LOD here. If we get back in where the buyers were at the 87.5, I want to make sure I'm jumping out. We took it the first time through VWAP into the low, then we waited for it to press the pre-market support, let's just say, jump back into the trade, and then we're looking for that bottom here on Netflix, which is just going counter trend to the market in some ways, for whatever reason. The Nasdaq's not really moving.
Oh, no, it's not, which is weird, which is why we're so happy. Like, now I'm starting to rethink life choices because, like, the way trading's going right now, I'm not even sure how much I'm going to risk anymore on that SpaceX. I mean, I'm going to risk something on the SpaceX IPO, but the way we've been reading this open market trading has been quite incredible right now, and just thinking like, hey, man, maybe we should be putting a hell of a lot more risk into some of these ideas. There goes NVIDIA up to 2. We talked about this. You know, we wanted to get that out if it did hit. So there it goes, man. We got 222. 37s, I believe. Yeah, we got 37s out for a decent amount up there. So that was definitely a trade that we had to make. And we said that it could go $1.
Oh, he didn't bring
So there it goes, man. 2-1 there. So that's a good one. We'll definitely take that. IBIT, as Neil mentioned, the market is looking weak, coming back in. We've emptied out of 3/4 of IBIT. So I'm going to put, there you go, we put a 61 and we get hit immediately. So we'll wait to see there it goes through 61. So we'll kick another piece out right there. We are getting nervous, like just like our, I'm going to take out another piece actually right here. feel like I'm being a little frugal with this, but NVIDIA on day of earnings, could fall back in, and we don't want the same thing to happen to us on Google that's happening on NVIDIA, or that would happen to us on Google, where we were in the money and we were like loving life, and then all of a sudden it went whoosh like that, and then I was like, this is looking like a short, and we don't take it. So if I'm getting those feelings for NVIDIA, let's just get out of a little bit there. So there we go, another out at 223. We're getting lighter and lighter on this one. My stop is still right. We can actually almost change this stop now because of where the market has gone to. So now our levels have gotten upside. So I'm going to go 222 in change there on a stop. So 222, maybe 20s, something like that, so we don't wind up giving it all back. But we won't give it all back, so we'll have to watch out for it. But now, so far, so good on this play. We're going to watch out now for NVIDIA, for Google, for the futures. You mentioned ARM was up huge.
They're about to break LOD, the future.
Okay.
Just now, which is, it's weird because the futures just broke the low, and you'd think, well, that's not the moment you would get out of a short, but it has been that way for Netflix. Like, the second the futures broke the low, Netflix bounced off the low.
Yeah,
so
IBIT's coming back in.
It's just this weird thing that's happening with the stock. So for now, I'll wait to maybe get back like 88.3, 88.4 up at that high to reload it. Till proven otherwise, that's where resistance is, but it could easily be a VWAP trade. I'm certainly open to jumping back in at a VWAP short if we can. Again, still want to be bearish on this. I will slap the fail on CBRS there. Yeah, it's one of those, it broke right down. It didn't even try what it did yesterday. Like, I was looking for this consolidation type of thing and then break the consolidation lower from yesterday's pattern. And all it did was get there and then fall apart. And when the bid drops on Cerebrus, like, what are you gonna do? Like, you have two choices. You can either like just punch it $2 lower than where you want to get in, or you can not take the trade. So I wasn't willing to just smack the bid wherever it happens to be as it's going down. That thought is nuts.
Yeah, hiya. Right there. There goes NVIDIA, man. To the moon right there. Let's go, NVIDIA, man. That is your hot dog cannon trade of the day. And also, right into here, there goes IBIT, man, on a reload. I mean, IBIT came right into our level. What are you going to sit here and not take it again? There goes IBIT right into our level. We get long at 55s, and now that's starting to shoot upside. But it's the NVIDIA party, and we are all about that one as we go into the high of the day, man. The airplane is in here again as we get reloaded on IBIT. We get reload. Wow, IBIT, let's go. Look what's happening with NVIDIA right now. Okay, Joe, this is turning out to be quite, yeah, you're telling me. This is turning out to be quite a day right here. We're out of nowhere. We were just kind of like ho-humming what we were just seeing there, and then all of a sudden it was like blast off. So as Neil said there, that was a nice move, a little higher right there, but it really spiked NVIDIA. So there we go, up to 224. Hello, right there. We talked about one good trade, and we're trying to put those on daily for you guys. So, thanks for watching. We're in this game for the long haul. So hopefully we've been able to prove our worth to you guys every single day. And, I'm very, very proud to be part of this. And even when I was on vacation there, all I ever do is talk about work. And but there goes NVIDIA 224 upside with other people, obviously, as they talk to me about it. But there's 224 for NVIDIA. This was going to be a good play there, and we're in it. So there it goes right now. Gold. We talked about it though. Certain levels that I'm trying to hit on a daily. We've hit those now, and just keeps on going upside. So we're now like, May has been a crazy month, and we're going to see if it can even get better, obviously, as we continue to wait for SpaceX. We continue to do all of that right now. But there goes NVIDIA, now $1.50 in the money off of a play that, quite frankly, man, we gave this to you as, easy day. Like, we're waiting for that to break. As soon as it breaks, we get marketed into that trade, and the rest is, as they say, history. So there it goes.
Yeah, I don't know what the headline was, but whatever happened, oil was above that 150 and then just absolutely flushed. Biggest volume spike of the day there on oil futures and continuing to tank. So when we see something happen in the market, like that's more or less all it is. Like, we just had this crazy spike. There was a trend break on Tesla, so I got in on the trend break on Tesla, and that's already headed to VWAP. Well, that was fast. Tesla just broke the trend and hit VWAP consistently. What's the story here? Adara.
Yes, sir, guys, just came back. This headline also just came out, so we are right on time with it. right at 10:15 a.m. Pakistani army leader may visit Iran tomorrow to announce the final version of the agreement text. Again, guys, USO dropping as Al-Hadath reports that the Pakistani army leader could visit Iran as early as tomorrow to announce the final version of an agreement text. Apparently, the next round of negotiations will be held in Islamabad after the Hajj season. So we're not really sure exactly when this is going to occur. Next round happening in Islamabad, Pakistan, sometime soon. Again, the Pakistani army leader could visit Iran tomorrow to announce the final version of agreement text. Now, obviously, this still awaits a lot of different layers of approval from the U.S., but either way here, guys, USO down as we get this headline.
Yeah, as that happened as quick as you like, that one trend break, I was still sitting VWAP on Netflix. The second I got the fill and saw or heard that story, I didn't really see it. It's on the screen. You guys can see it there. I was like, no, that's not going to get in on the upside there on Netflix. Don't want to give away what we made on it. But that was so quick on Tesla for the trend break where the confirmation candle, I sit on the bid for the confirmation candle, and then we're gone through to VWAP. But I still stick to the old rule, because at the moment I didn't know what was going on. You just sort of hear this, that something's happening in oil.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So I get out at VWAP. I was sitting on the offer immediately, just instantaneously out. This one went 408 to 410 in a matter of seconds there on Tesla. Thankfully, was able to get something in. And I want to see if Cerberus is going upside, because everything is going upside.
Oh, let's go.
Maybe not this. Okay, well, this might still be weak. Maybe. I want to see, maybe give it 5 minutes or so to digest the news. And if this is still looking like it's opposed to the overall market move, then this would stay as short for me. Trickier to get into it, as I said, when the spread opens up, but it's starting to calm down a bit here. So visit Iran tomorrow for the final version of the agreement. You know what? That's not the first time we've heard that as well. So, I don't know.
All right.
It's short-term movement in the market. I think just take it for what it's worth. I don't think we're ending the war as quickly as that headline or any of these headlines ever suggest.
Okay. You know, this was 50 cents worth of risk. It's now $1.50. I think this was, perfectly planned. And I'm just going to start to get out more and more here. I'm going to take an offer at 26s if it goes through there. It's meme crazy right now, this stock. It's taking out all the offers, as is IBIT. It's actually, look, NVIDIA will be our #1 trade. It's not even close, but IBIT is there. IBIT's worth half for me today. We just have more confidence in NVIDIA than I did there in Bitcoin. But if this can get into the 90s again, we're offering some 88s, then maybe that will change the trajectory of that one. Another sort of a big day alert there on just 2 trades. So it just goes to show you that when you're going to be wrong like this, and when you're going to be right like this, or be right like this. And that's all that it is. I mean, all we're doing is taking shots on levels that we believe in, and hopefully able to pay off with as well. So that's that kind of a trade. We'll move off of it, but just letting you guys know it's been a big one, and I'm now I still have about a third of the IBIT, trying to let that one go higher. There goes JP Morgan. Shout out to my guy over there to the left of me. Although it's still at 298, still not recovering too well off of those moves, but we like JP Morgan. The biggest financial holding that I have is JP Morgan. And right behind that, wow, NVIDIA is now 4-1, by the way. SoFi right there as well. This is going to be one that I'm hoping does have. Someone said, what have I been buying lately? I did my most recent buys in the financials were SoFi, but yesterday we added to our CEG yesterday, Constellation, and I didn't get IREN. I was bidding 45. I'll have to check the exact price. It only got to 46, so we missed IREN yesterday. But there goes CEG. We bought some yesterday. I like the name. We talked about this. It was been kept on getting hit down. So Constellation there in the portfolio. And here comes IBIT. Did we get that 88? Yes, we did again. So there's some glizzies. Watch out over there. Now you're $2.50, 15 cents, sorry, in the money on NVIDIA. So put another offer and let it take us out on the way back up. Hopefully that winds up happening. I just offered 70s, and there it goes, right through the high of the day. Now $2.20 in the money goes NVDA. Oh boy, are we having fun yet? I would say yes. Adara over at the desk, maybe?
Some more context as well for this headline. Again, guys, Al-Hadath reporting that the Pakistani army chief could be visiting Iran to announce the completion of a final version of a draft agreement as early as tomorrow. But apparently if he decides not to travel to Iran tomorrow, they could announce the completion of this agreement within hours. So I'll have to keep you guys posted, wait and see what happens. It's unclear if the announcement would include detailing what's in the agreement or if they're just going to announce, hey, we finished an agreement. If I get, again, more details, I'll keep you all posted, so don't go anywhere. In the meantime, RKDA, this stock certainly did go somewhere. It was to the upside, just pulled back a little bit here. RKDA, one of 3 earnings-related small caps on watch. This is about a $2.5 million market cap. This is a day 4 earnings play. So a couple days ago here, they reported EPS miss, sales miss. Today, though, good look for RKDA. SLXN, you can find this name in our watch list, and was also mentioned during our discussion with Luis Barbato earlier today. But their float here for SLXN is about, I believe, 1.5 million share, or 1.5 to 3 million shares. You've got a market cap here of 2.5 million shares, beating on earnings. This is as of Monday, so day 3 earnings play for SLXN. Then you've got Capstone, CAPS, a day 1 earnings play here. They did miss on earnings per share, larger than expected loss, but sales came out as a beat. You've got about a $5 million market cap for CAPS. Back to you.
Thanks, Adara. And yeah, it looks like we're right to get out the VWAP on Tesla. It shot right up. That's the rule anyways, but it's starting to look a little bit relatively weak. The NASDAQ is taking out highs as we speak. ES too. I mean, they're both going to the upside, and Tesla's looking a little bit weak. It never got to our level. There's only ever 3 ways I'm looking for entry strategies most of the time. If it's not a clean breakout trade, it's dip into a support, and it's break a trend, or it's hold the volume weighted average price. It's clearly not holding VWAP. It's broken the trend once. If it sets up a longer trend, I guess I'll have to look for that if we're going to stay bullish on TSLA. Netflix is still looking like it could be a short. It's holding that trend line. Still battling. The market's looking pretty strong. But if this breaks trend upside, you can't be fighting that. Like, it's worked shorting it, but at some point the market could get entirely too strong. If it closed under VWAP, I'll take that shot one more time in there. And my goodness, ARM.
Yes, ARM.
Yeah, 257 now, the high. 15% on ARM. That's still not, wait a minute, I thought that already, yeah, it's still not even at the post-market highs. That was, like, the actual high was 68 or so, but like the real body was in here at 62. So if you're looking for like where ARM might get to, there's still a little bit of room from that earnings high for it to continue to go. That seems like it's the most obvious reversion out there if it gets above 260 bucks. But no, that's probably a wait for closer to the midday kind of moment, I think. And watch out for USO. Like, a lot of the exuberance that we just saw, you're actually seeing USO catch a bit of a bid off the lows here. Like, it got all the way down into 106, and it's already up like $1.50. So if it gets to the prior bottom, 148, that's a spot where you find resistance there. That'd be a place to engage in some long. So hopefully Tesla at that point is at a good level, and we can try this one for a second. And that's not at 04s yet. Want this down at the prior close or just break the trend? Tesla's so weak. Like, really, you hit the open and then you had like one shot to take the trend break. Now it's going to break the low of the day here, Tesla. That's disappointing.
Yeah, it always is disappointing. You never want to see that happen. We'll have to wait for Tesla. I'm still going to wait for Tesla 404, so we'll get over there. There's the breakdown now of NVIDIA. So we had, you know, little piece left. Probably had about 15% left, and I couldn't believe what was happening, and we watched it go meme crazy there. Then as it was dropping, we were able to get out, and then there's the final countdown out right there once we broke through 223.25. So we got out there. Just didn't want to hold it. Like, there's your 50, so your 25 period break. There's your 200 period break. We could have gone a little bit more aggressive and got out at 222.50, but we gave it just a little bit more room to see where that one floats to. So yeah, man, NVIDIA by far right there for me, the number one trade of the day. And we're just going to go a little bit of hydration nation there as we go. Okay, that was good. It did not rain on us last night, so we had a good practice.
You guys didn't get any rain?
No, we didn't get any.
Okay, because I picked up my daughter from guides at like 8 o'clock.
Yeah, it started, we were 6 to 8, and it started coming down, but it wasn't really coming down. It was good enough to be able to get everything
We got
going
enough,
on there.
but it was like 10 minutes long, and then it was just gone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
It was like it rained hard for 10 minutes.
Oh, no, we didn't get the hard one, so that was okay.
Thankfully, the diamond should be good tonight. Our practice diamond sits in a valley. Like, it's not.
Yeah, that might be it.
I have a bad feeling about how it
NVIDIA's
looks
bouncing.
after any rain. Service might. You know what? I'm starting to think of this in both directions. I haven't taken a long since the IPO open on this thing. But if I'm being real and you have a trend down that gets broken by also breaking VWAP, that's a long setup. So yeah, if it holds under VWAP, I'd probably take a shot at this short, but I gotta be willing to at least look for the reversal. Look what it did yesterday on kind of a similar move. Look at that long. So I'm bearish on it because I think the valuation and where it came to was ridiculous, but if it goes red here with a red candle, I'll look for the short, willing to reverse it long above VWAP, and then maybe it gets to that pre-market high, hold some for the 350, which is still a big anchor price on CBRS. Netflix, it doesn't look like a re-enter on the short. This is now breaking that trend from the open. Like there's your lower high there. That's going to be breaking the trend. So you take the short into the low of the day, gets close to the low of the second time. I don't know that it's going to be worth it to try to jump into that again unless I see it drop a little bit more. So CBRS is going to be on my radar currently. And this time I'm actually willing to take a break of the trend line upside. Got to be willing to.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, NVIDIA's popping 50 cents from my level. We basically will make the low there. That's not an ad. Like an ad for me is down here. I was actually at 220, 250 waiting for that ad there, but it didn't come through obviously and bounces quite nicely off, as you can see, as does. Actually, I should have been looking at the Qs because that was a much better, like if I'm gonna add NVIDIA at VWAP down there in the 50, that was gonna be a good spot to potentially get long on Intel, on the NQs down there as well. Palantir was having itself a day. Someone said I gave up on BBAI too early. I didn't give up on BBAI. What is it up to? 406. There it goes. Yeah, let's go, man. Face slapper. Don't tell Joe this is happening. He's not going to like some of these accounts going higher here. There goes BBAI up 5 and a bit % right now, starting to go. Let's check out on our other play. Let's see what Eli Lilly's been doing. We haven't really looked at too much of the broader market today, as we've been really focused on, okay, Eli Lilly flat. Wow, still $1,000.26. Hey, that was a pretty good dip buy opportunity there for Eli Lilly over the last little while. All right, so NVIDIA, you know, today's the day, man. I mean, everyone's sort of front running, I guess, this NVIDIA report with NVIDIA and the whole space just blasting. We've already looked at ARM. There's Micron's only up 1%. That might be a good number there as well. Oh, you just told Jane at Trade the Pool that you should battle her in a 10-minute battle. What Jane is that? Is that Airplane Jane? She don't want no smoke, but she can come on if she wants. There it is. She's a friend of mine, so we're playing around, if that's who you mean. There, she was one of the first guests on our show. All right, there's Dell, KLAC, so on and so forth. And obviously, you know, battling somebody else. I mean, I just trade my book. It doesn't really matter what everybody else is doing. All right, there's Caterpillar, Lamb, AMAT, ASML. We highlighted that. I don't see it on here, but it's here somewhere. ASM. I thought ASML was doing well today. Maybe it should be in this.
ASML broke.
Maybe it's not. It should be part. It should be part of the S&P 500, right? ASML, of course. So yeah, I don't know, but it's not maybe? Yeah, okay, so that's probably why it's not showing up in here, but we do like some ASML.
Up 5 points today.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I was saying it's a surprise it's not in there.
Oh,
consumer names, I mean, I didn't like the Target report. I liked the report, but not the action that we had seen off Target. So where are we with Target in your communications, health services, transportation, utilities, health, retail, there it is. Hello. Costco, Walmart, all to the downside. TJX, of course, a little bit better. There's Target now down 6.5%. So that should be a lot of fun there with Target coming into some key levels there as well. Remember that 4.5% dividend, very, very interesting for TGT. But yeah, IBIT, man, I'm waiting at 87 to try to get that. And oh boy, there it goes, man. Nice move for NVIDIA. Congratulations for that one. But hey, the money's already in the pocket. It's in the bank, so there's nothing I could do about that right now. We did really well on it. It's almost, it might be more than we made on whatever we did yesterday as well. So that was a good one there. IBIT, we just get our 87s back to the high of the day. Let's just keep on going back and forth, man. It's been a great day. Oracle also, I think, was going there. We didn't have too much of a look at Oracle there. I didn't see it on the board. Okay, no, Oracle's only up 0.5. I saw someone mention Oracle up there.
Disappointing.
Yeah, boo.
You know what? Oracle's not the same type of. It just doesn't have the same runway as like the ARMs and the AMDs of the world. Like Oracle still has this.
Oracle's so heavy. It's such an old name. There's so many people in it. And there's NVIDIA.
I also think it's, if we're talking about like who had the most risk in the AI play, I'd still put Oracle near that list. We left them off the list yesterday. I don't know if that was the right thing, but I just took my first long position since the open on CBRS, which is very different. Like, forget about the IPO open trades.
Oh,
like,
look
for
at
me,
NVIDIA.
I'm only comparing this to the apples to apples that we're trading after this. So, like, I want to give it, I'm giving it about $2.50. So I'll risk about a quarter of what we were making on it earlier in the week. But if we get through VWAP, this could be, look for some place to add. Like, this is the type of break that I'm looking for. And then if it kind of makes a fresh high, I'd look for like a maybe a VWAP retracement place or so. But here, like that prior bar, the prior bar, you're giving it $2.50 on this thing. Minimum stop level on this is $2.50. So you have to get to VWAP, and then that'll be basically just barely better than the 1-to-1. So you got to open things up a little bit with this stock. I know I've only been thinking short on this stock, so first time we're long, and it was just a trend breakout trade. There's still nothing on Netflix. That'll be a big time nothing burger. And I wish I could tell you something about like Tesla. It looked like it was headed back down into that 405, like 404, 405, and then it just caught like a ridicubid. I don't know.
Like that's a good word.
I don't know. It's like it did the same thing it did when we had the news, where it just shot up and then it's at VWAP in a snap of a finger. So catching that was almost impossible on that break. Like I happened to be in it when it did the crazy candle before because it broke the trend. This time, as it's breaking, it just goes absolutely ham here on Tesla. I do want to be in this long again. It might be the volume weighted average price we can join, or it looks like 407. You can like the prior close all you want, but if 407 is where the buyers are, that's where you have to join them. So good look. Tesla finally looking a little bit stronger relative to the market than it was 5-10 minutes ago. That's for sure. Tesla's been a bit of a disappointment in terms of how the volatility has been, but I still like this look. Look at the rounded bottom, hold a higher low. There's a lot of room for Tesla to even get to 420 today if the market seems to want 2%. Market goes 2%, Tesla should be able to get to 420, you'd think.
Yeah.
It's only 2% from where it is right now. So it can outpace the market.
All right. Thanks, Team Money. Thanks everybody for the nice words in the chat. Obviously, we try to entertain, and it's funny. Someone said, about I don't know how they could host the show and trade at the same time. I mean, that's why we've been here for quite a while, so we're pretty used to doing stuff like that. So we're fine, and that's why we use. That's not why we use stop orders, but we do encourage everybody at all times to use stop orders, and in case your trade gets a little out of hand. And the stop order, I could say that and then look at this and say, well, that stop order didn't work, but it worked perfectly. It's just the level there. We look, man. I had less than 10. I had probably 8% left of that trade. So it sucks, man, to look back at that and say, why did we get out? But we do follow our own rules. And just like this rule for IBIT, right? IBIT came right up to the top again and we got out. So now it's kind of like, okay, whatever happens, happens. We're out of the way more than the majority of that. We have less than 10%. Actually, we have exactly 10% left now in IBIT. So that's going to be something. One other thing I wanted to look at, I want to talk about this ARM. So this is, my kids say literally all the time. But just before I left there, I got long at 201. So I think it must have been this day right there, the 12th of May. So right now we look and we say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trading days. We're up now 25+%. So I'm thinking, honestly, I might even trim some of this today on ARM, and then we don't have to worry about what it does tomorrow. And if it still winds up popping through, this is the high of their earnings call, was 268. So we're getting close to that right now on a nice up move. But again, if NVIDIA does what we think NVIDIA is going to do, which is put out better numbers, then yeah, ARM probably goes a little bit higher. So thinking about not, the general 50% or so, this is in my TFSA account, so it's in like an account where you don't pay any taxes on or anything like that. So we should be able to realize a little bit of profit on this one heading into earnings for NVIDIA. It's the same thing, honestly, it's the same thing we did on Target. We got out of this on Tuesday or Wednesday, and that was part of the money for ARM. And we were able to get out of Target there at 121, a little ahead of earnings, in case there was some sort of a disastrous moment, but doesn't seem to be like that at all for Target today. Down a little bit, was down a lot and not as much anymore. So yeah, that's what we're doing right now in the space, and just waiting to see what happens now to Walmart, Target of the world. And I think a really undervalued stock, and it still has to prove itself, but like Lululemon has just been getting people talking about the retail space. We talked about Kava and all that. We're going to wait to see if there is
I have to for Lululemon.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. But right now it's trying to base out here on Lulu at that 118 and change. I'll have to look at like I said, I'm so bad at what I own in my account because I throw around money like into names and just taking shots at some names. But here, Lululemon, I'm going to look back and see what's going on with this stock. It's not like we bought it any time recently, that's for sure. But even on a monthly chart, you see you're coming in. We talked about this area right there, back to 2018 levels. Like, oh my gosh, right there, Lululemon. Getting real hits. So this is down well off of some levels where I think it should be trading at. So Lululemon might be worth a little bit of a shot there if you were looking for something in the retail space. I mean, Nike, all these names getting absolutely crushed to the downside. So Lululemon definitely one of those names recently.
I love it. Happy birthday to the person who's, I can read it up here. Happy birthday to the person whose day it is watching. Whose birthday it is watching. Do not believe any tech CEO that says blue-collar jobs are the future. Welding is fun, but open source AI is going to rug pull tech CEOs and equalize like Linux did back in the day.
David.
So all week last week and certainly a little bit this week, we've just been making up whose birthday it is. We can say whoever we want. It was Adara's birthday one day, it was Sean's birthday, it's been Joe's birthday, it's been my birthday. But happy birthday to anybody out there. I didn't see anyone say it's their birthday. It is not any of our birthdays. It's a running joke on the show. And you guys started it. It wasn't me. You guys started this nonsense with the happy birthday.
I mean, I feel like it's my birthday, so.
That's just how it rolls.
You guys
around
always
here. We just have fun with it.
Yeah,
Thank you, Damien. We appreciate it. Boxing Day.
Oh, Sharif's birthday's coming up apparently? Okay, that's good for Sharif there.
Sharif?
Yeah.
Yeah, Sharif's birthday is legitimately
the best looking 55-year-old you're ever going to find, man.
That is
Happy
true.
birthday to Sharif.
That is
who will be back in the building in a matter of moments there.
In about 20 minutes. Tesla is not breaking. It's trying. It's close. It's not really doing it, and it's at the exact moment that the market's coming in. So we're not going to be into Tesla. Cerberus did not hold on to the trend. I have to draw that again, seriously. Did not hold on to the prior bar. Keystroke back in, but then just got out flat. But it broke that prior bar out. Someone said, how do you trade and host? Have rules, man. Like I said to you that I wanted to risk to the prior bar and that I'd risk about a quarter of what I was making on a good trade on this one earlier in the week, and that's pretty much what we did. So it broke the trend line. I took my first shot at the long. I've only been shorting the stock. Got away with one yesterday, to be honest with you. And then, like the prior days, it was so weak under the 300. That's just a different trade. So I wanted to give a chance at the long now that it's trending back into the upside. But a trend break for me is so incredibly binary. If you break the prior bar, you get out, and then you work into the next. And it's the same thing with getting in. Tesla, it's going to have to show me a clean trend break. And if it makes a clean trend break, I play the VWAP. If it holds this next one, which is even in some ways a little bit better, and breaks up here, then I'm looking for the high of the day, and the stop, depending on the timing, is either going to be there or possibly right in that 4.9. But it's not giving you an entry off of this just yet. So again, you have to be a little bit patient. And then, as I say before, you've got to make sure that whatever a trade costs you, you can make that back. So on CRBS, you would have seen when Sean wasn't here and we were trading it with Joe, you have to hold that one for $5, $10, $15 because you're going to be risking easy $2, $3, $4, $5, right? So that one's a bit different. Like in some $3 stocks, you might want to take $1 on it. That one, you're not taking $1 on CRBS.
So Dehydration Nation, yeah, very, very kind. Thank you. Yeah, drink lots of water. I mean, it is the key fountain of youth, which I do not hold.
Prevents the afternoon headaches.
Right there. Yeah, it's pretty good. And I'll be going off to the gym. That's where Sharif is right now, and he'll be back momentarily. And then Monday, so that's interesting. So we'll see. We're off on Monday.
It's Memorial Day.
Memorial Day, so. I thought that was Sharif right there. I was going to say, speak of the devil. All right, I think Adara now at 10:40. Let's go find out some sort of a segment.
Before we get to Sector Watch, another day, another investigation from Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton into a public company. Today it's Meta. So META, the most recent recipient here of a Ken Paxton investigation. Now, for what it's worth, and I'm only providing this context because I feel it's relevant, as I've mentioned, he's opened a whole bunch of investigations into public companies lately, including Spotify, Lululemon. The list is quite expansive, and he also is running for Senate, so he could actually be out of office relatively soon. Either way here, unclear what would happen to these investigations, but the latest one being open is META. I should actually look into what happens to these investigations. But right now, let's look into what's happening at this market, because right now, lots of strength. Electronic tech, good look here. Apple kind of flat, Cisco kind of flat, but tons of strength in NVIDIA ahead of its earnings report tonight. Broadcom, Micron, AMD up 7%, Intel up 6%, KLAC up 4%, Qualcomm up 2%. Finance, mostly strong here. These credit card names here, Visa, MasterCard, Amex, all slightly red. Producer manufacturing looking good. Consumer services mostly looking good. You do have a pullback here to RCL, but the rest of these relatively strong. Transportation relatively strong. Industrial services pretty strong. Consumer durables, pretty good look. Some weakness, though, in tech services across the board here. Intuit down ahead of their earnings tomorrow. They're going to be doing some job cuts as well, we heard. Energy minerals weak, and retail trade, with the exception of Amazon and TJX on earnings day one, not Amazon, but TJX. Rest of the sector pretty weak. Target, another day one earnings play in the space, down 6% after warning of costs in their earnings call. Also, IEA here saying that the U.S. crude inventories, including SPR, have dropped by the most on record. So strategic petroleum reserves and U.S. crude inventories dropping by the most on record. Back to you.
All right.
TJX.
I got to give it here. We see Mike Peter Ryder all the time in the chat. Here he is.
Mike and Mike.
Telling me, yeah, I don't know which Mike Peter Ryder this is, Mike 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. He ain't got no game plan again. But even when I do, most of the time it does not go as planned. That's fine. I mean, Mike, keep watching us. Hopefully you're able to learn a little bit about our game plans and whatnot and trying to help yourself out with your own trading. So shout out to you, Mike, and thank you. And I just posted, thanks for always being here, right? So I know you're kind of tongue-in-cheek about a lot of that stuff. So we want to say thank you again to all of the viewers that continue to support Trader TV Live, and we wouldn't be doing this without you guys. So, well, I probably would be, but we've actually changed this whole floor around. This used to be a trading floor, and we talked about this yesterday. It's just, it's hard to become a prop trader. We turned this whole place into a studio, and it's really grown into something real special. So thank you everybody that's been here every single day, and we're actually going to open up another one of these offices down in Kuala Lumpur. So we're really excited to do that and to have that going 24/7 Trader TV Live. So get ready for that, Mike. Then you can talk on the chat like 24 hours a day, and hopefully you'll be able to get some sleep. So yes, it actually is Randy's birthday today, so that is a good call on that one. But yeah, so just thanks again to everybody. I mean, it does mean a lot, and I mean, I think the trading is getting better and better. We want to thank Joe for that, Sharif for that, and Adara's, I mean, added so much to us from that news angle that it's been unbelievable. We could not have the same show without her. So
Midwest.
Again, we want to thank everybody for continuing to do this. Brendan's gone for 3
Brendan's
gone for 3 weeks.
Through next week, and I think early.
You on vacation, baby?
Yeah. So yeah, it's more like 2.5, but it doesn't really matter.
Oh, it's 3 exactly.
It's a full next week. He'll be gone, and then they'll be back in June.
Back on June the 4th. So
June. We're already talking about June. So he's back in time. I guess that's 1 week before the SpaceX IPO, in theory.
Thank you so much, Scott, Brett, everybody.
Just saying the 12th. Everyone's saying happy birthday, Randy. Why not? I actually don't even know. I don't know when Randy's birthday is. I just realized. Do you know when Randy's birthday is? Okay, Tesla's breaking now. Tesla's breaking through the volume weighted average price, breaking the trend line here. So I want to grab it breaking. Don't chase, don't chase. Sometimes it'll come back in and pick you up. Want that long, and I have to give it down to 409.30 for sure. So trying to get swept up here, but again, part of the rules is the confirmation candle's got to close, and the second it did, we opened, and then you try to go long in it. But sometimes it just goes absolutely crazy in there. I'm going to leave the orders and see if we get swept back up. Sand Viper, thoughts on TE breakout? Well, I always preface it with, if I have not looked at the stock and I don't know it, then I'll let you guys know. I have not looked at it. Obviously in play today, 28% to the upside. Sheesh. What's our short? The first thing I think about an $8 stock is 21% short flow. That's the first place my mind goes to. Probably got a big short flow. I don't even see a news story for it. There was a short report last week on them, it looks like. Could this just be short report and then squeeze? Maybe the only news story I saw was from the 19th. Well, sorry, not last week, like yesterday. There was a short report yesterday, and then it goes squeeze today because it wouldn't make a fresh low. We've seen that pattern before. Short report comes out, it doesn't really tank the stock, and when it starts breaking out, short's got to cover, right? Because
not seeing anything new.
yeah, so there's nothing new on it. Yeah, maybe it's just 22% to the short side and could just be a bit of a squeeze play. Fuzzy Panda. Well, if you're going to be a short report company, you might as well have an interesting name. I don't know. Fuzzy Panda short report.
Join Joe, myself, and Adara after hours as people, I guess. I'm just responding to some. I got so many messages here of you guys all giving me some ideas, talking, make BBAI bounce again. Sure. Done. BBAI, JK. We'll see how that winds up going right now as, yeah, BBAI. Thank you to that, Joseph. Hey, what's up, Serge the Cat? Right here looking for some TQQ advice there as well. So I'm just going back and trying to respond to as many people as I can there on good old Instagram as, again, trying to build some community up there. So get on Twitter, get on Instagram, and let us know how y'all are feeling. With only 5 minutes or, well, we got to do the what's for lunch, and then we're going to get out of here, and I'm out of here. We'll be back. I think it was an American flag, so that's a little preview. We'll see that very, very soon. Hoping for fried chicken. Right now, but that could come into play very, very soon. We're going to talk about that. Micron. Okay, Micron trying to break back down a little bit. You know what else is breaking down right here is NVIDIA. So although, you know, we got out where we got out, and then we were like, well, yeah. But that looks like a pretty good topping situation right there. I don't know what kind of toppings you guys like on your burgers, but NVIDIA likes a 225 top, and there it is falling back down in right now as we get a little lower there on NVDA. So yeah, that's going to be a play here. I'm going to leave it alone now. You know, I didn't even really have it on the watch, and then we just saw this, and I saw it. See, this is the kind of trading that, like I said, man, I've been really doing more of this month, and that is trying to wait for the development there and then break higher through there. Sharif, man, your birthday's on Memorial Day, eh? Where everyone's saying happy birthday. Sharif's in the building right here.
Look.
So
you get the day off.
I'm going to give I'm going to say happy birthday to Sharif anyways on Friday, but and I'll make sure to mention it to him on Monday. But a early happy birthday for you, Sharif. The only guy that looks like he's in his 30s. Well, Joseph, I guess maybe might actually.
Yeah, but Joe is.
Joe is, yeah. Joe's a good guy, but Sharif, you know, obviously. Has a big day today with Arsenal, and we're very excited for that. It's always nice to, of course, Neil and I being Toronto fans don't have anything. It's funny, I was talking with one.
I'm a Liverpool fan, but that's not.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like, you know, yeah.
I support them just because of my cousin.
Yeah, I was talking with one yesterday. He's like, well, Arsenal hasn't done this in 20 years. I'm like, 20 years? That's amazing. That's actually quite recent.
20 years is not a drought.
Because, yeah.
Don't talk to me about a drought when it's 20 years.
Yeah, and I was trying to get to him. I said, well, the Maple Leafs haven't won since 67. The Blue Jays haven't won since 93. And the Raptors, thankfully, took it down in 2019, where we partied, man. The wife and I went right down to Dundas Square.
At least the Buffalo Bills. Oh, wait a minute. That's right.
Right, yeah. Well, the Packers are one of the most storied franchises, so I'm okay there. But, yeah, it is it's a problem. I don't know, was it 2012? I'd have to look that up for the last time the Packers won. But, yeah, Aaron Rodgers.
When did Rodgers win the...
It was probably early 2010s. Like, yeah, it could have been... It wasn't 16. That seems too long ago. No, it definitely was not 10 years ago. Yeah, you watch Sharif. Sharif's going to know the exact. It probably is 2012. So he's going to know that almost better than I do right there. But a lot of love for the Packers, that's for sure. So
2011, very close.
2011, yeah, good call there. You know,
that was again
Sharif on that one. Yeah. So all right, we're going to go back over to the desk. It's 10:50. Let's go find about that. The U.S. dollar was going down earlier. Let's go find out if that's what's happening right about now.
We're here too. I know some people in the chat I saw were talking about the euro. We're seeing chances here that there could be an ECB rate hike in June, so that's on watch here. Euro slightly stronger on the DXY. As Sean mentioned, DXY weaker today. We made it above that prior area of resistance around 99.3 yesterday. Right now, kind of holding around that level. No massive economic data today, though. Be aware, we're going to have FOMC meeting minutes from that April meeting at 2 p.m. Eastern. So stay tuned. we could get some interesting commentary here, given that we did have the largest descent since the 90s at that meeting. But again, only time will tell. We'll find out at 2 p.m. if there is anything of note from those minutes. Also, interestingly enough, President Trump earlier today praising fantastic economic data out of the U.S. yesterday. Only print that we really had yesterday was that slightly stronger than expected pending home sales number. But either way, worth noting, he, I guess, was happy with that data. And let's take a look at the CME FedWatch tool. We are still seeing chances of rate hikes starting in January of 2027. Again, a couple weeks ago, we were seeing these maybe start in December, if anything. Now, could be starting as early as January of next year. Now, again here, guys, for this most recent meeting coming up here, most closest meeting rather here, in June, we're expecting 96.8% chance rates will get held. Back to you.
Thanks, Adara. David, this is a good one. I like the super chat. I love all the super chats, but trading intelligence, liquidity analysis, patience, action. What does that spell? Eating the other's lunch, and I like that one. It's not quite tilapia because you need the I in between the A, but we haven't had that in a while.
No, okay, let's do it now then.
Well, it's interesting because when you brought up lunch, the first thing I thought was, we haven't
BBAI?
had you know what in a while.
And Kathy Wood just said couple tickers there and left.
By the way, Mopar, we got to the World Series, and we would have won if taking a lead off more than like 3 inches off of third base was a thing. But apparently it's not. The organization likes to stand right next to the bag for reasons unknown. But that's just part of the life. No, I don't have no issue. I have no issues with the umps there, Fabian.
No, of course not. Yeah, the umps are fine.
No, the World Series was fantastic. I actually thought
it was fun.
You know, actually, I was at pretty much every game. I watched every single game. I can't think of a moment where I'm like, what the heck are the umps doing? They were completely left out of it. And that's exactly how referees and umps should be, that you don't even think about them. So I can't.
Yeah, no,
the Dodgers just beat us, man. Like, what are you going to do? The Dodgers are a great team. Great.
We got to go with what's for lunch now, and we're going to find this out. I told you, I thought I saw yesterday that it was an American flag, so here we go. Today, just checking the date, is the 20th of May, so we can have a quick little look here. What is for lunch? Today we had shakshuka for breakfast, and that was, oh no, it's not the American flag. It is a friendly ally of the United States, which aren't they all? The UK, so we do have a British, yes, exactly. So today it's the same thing we always get when it is a British lunch, and
Shepherd.
Today it is no difference. Yeah, it's one or the other, actually, I should have said. Today is beef pot pie. So the shepherd's pie, we found out was lamb. You know, so this today is a beef pot pie. Not very excited about that one. I'll probably just squish it all up. We'll see. We might
throw some hot sauce on.
Yeah, we'll figure that out. Of course, with mashed potatoes, that's part of the pot pie there. Roasted seasoned vegetables, and then a garden salad. So that's what's for lunch. It's a pot pie.
It's okay.
For me, I like the more traditional lunches, but you know, pot pie will be okay. And there goes, by the way, you know, this is another one. We'll fire off the hot dog cannon. And you guys are right, man. This is the kind of day that it's been. I like that sort of tilapia talk there, but honestly, this is what preparation does for you. There's IBIT right down there at 43.50. It's going to be an absolutely huge trade for me today because we got it twice. None of these other things hit. Intel does not go down to 111. We could have shorted 120. Probably should have done that. Was actually looking to break long 120. Didn't take it. Tesla never gets to 404, but we really liked that. Even said 405 there as a possible level there. The TQs gets to 73.70. Doesn't see it again. But the only trade that hits off here, and I made the most money on NVIDIA today, but the only trade for me that hits off is IBIT twice. IBIT comes right into the level twice. We loaded the you-know-what up about that, and there it goes, man, upside on IBIT, so that was a good one. And then I'll never let this one down, but there's NVIDIA. Great trade. This is going to be my number one P&L name there today. And just with this name alone, we did quite well, but then we left out on our last 8 to 10% there as it breaks through the 200 period moving average, and I tap out of it right there when we probably should not have. So that's my little look as we go now back into what's going to be hopefully a good day. I haven't done kettlebells in a bit, so we're going to do that today there.
Nice.
I
love kettlebells.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll do that, and we'll see what happens there into the afternoon with these guys to the left of us. Maybe Poet, some lower cap names.
Poet was disappointing.
Oh, yeah?
Well, it was half on the radar. All right, just by the way, first off, it got to that 412 here on TSLA.
Nice.
It's got the rounded bottom. We're kind of stair-stepping it to the upside, but just to give you a look on where I think this could go, if we don't break the high, so that's this level in here, then a dip into VWAP again, and if it does break the high, you know what? If it breaks out this high, I'm almost thinking it could push a little bit, maybe dip back into this 12 or 13, because I think you've got room to 18. But for now, it was trend break and then VWAP. As I said before, there's 3 ways I'm getting into stock that's a long trend. There's support, there's trend break, and there's VWAP. And those are the 3 ways that I want to be in. Oh, someone had asked us to go over Netflix, which I thought I don't know, I was covering Netflix this morning. But someone said, can you go over it again since I stopped trading it? I don't love it as much for the short. I know it's still weak, but the market's breaking out the high. It's still putting in higher lows. You've double bottomed. So what I want to see to get myself back into the short is there's your low. It finally did a real pullback that I can think about, like maybe this. If it keeps on going higher, maybe challenge that trend line a couple more times. And then I would look for the short trade. On a 15-minute, it's actually setting up on the 15 that this looks like it can be another short on the back end. But yeah, the thesis for Netflix being relatively weak still holds. It just wasn't able to really break down. Like it got, I'd say, halfway. Like this move 88.5 into 87.6. But really, like I wanted to see some push down into this level. It could still happen. And it is setting up for another short. But I want to see it actually close underneath that trend line, jump back in for like it'll be the 4th short, but like the 3rd one was right when I guess it was that oil, there was like a spike in oil or something, or whatever that was. And I got hit on the offer. I was like, oh, something's happening on the news. That's one where Tesla just shot up $2, and I just punched right out of it. I'm like, I don't want to be taking a fill against me when a headline just hit. So I got into that 3rd one really, really quickly. But I do still feel bearish on this name in particular. It was the only thing I was coming in on the note that said short was Netflix. Just can't seem to go when the market's up lately.
All right. Yeah, interesting morning. I hope everybody had a good one. I hope if you're, if you're green, great. If you're red, great. I hope you just put some good trades on and you're comfortable with what you've done because there's lots left in the day. It's 11 o'clock already. Every day seems like it goes by so fast around here. So, thanks everybody for continuously watching. We're going to be back at that time. And hopefully by then, man, the bear ride will have not ended because there's Big Bear AI up 7% there. Today, trying to get going as well. This is definitely a good day to check out your long-term portfolio or your swing accounts, whatever you are in. This A-Lab stock, we talked a little bit about that one as well. Astera Labs just continues to climb higher. That's up 12%. ARM, man, we reached our arm out on this one, and that was a good one. Now that's up 16% today is ARM. Marvell, you guys know that we've been long this name since $60, man, and really talking about it on the show. This is not like one of those pipe dream stocks. This is legit here that we've been talking about. Like this name, Marvell. I don't even know what to do with it anymore, man. Maybe it has a 200 handle and we decide at some point there. But everybody's just saying NVIDIA will take NVIDIA will take us on their back, and that's been what's happening here today. So NVIDIA going to be a good one there. And then some of the bank names, you can check out what the XLF is doing today. They've been sort of languishing. I wonder if this is the next sort of situation to go. XL, obviously we don't have that. Holding off on the 50 period, we'll have to check out some banks. JP Morgan was in and around that $300 mark. So another level there. Wow, 294 bottom up to 300. Looking pretty darn good for that one. And then yesterday we saw some Coinbase doing some dances as well there yesterday. So we can watch out for some Coinbase potentially coming through for a trade here later on. So 193 bouncing off that 200 is Coin. But yeah, so far so good, man. It's been a good one. It's 11 o'clock right now. So I want to say thank you to everybody and thanks for joining.
And we'll leave you with this one. Just look at a monthly chart of ARM. It's a sight to behold on that monthly chart. And it hasn't even found a new high just yet. It is absolutely gorgeous. The longer the consolidation, the better the breakout. Sometimes it's just how it is. And it was a pretty long 2 years for this one. And if it wants 280, technically that would be, if you look at it technically, 280 would make a heck of a lot of sense as the new high. But we'll see. It just works out on the monthly chart. We're going to eat some I don't know, pot pie.
Yep.
Maybe you have to throw some hot sauce on that. Although the only hot sauce we have around here is, in my opinion, not real hot sauce. It's sriracha. Sriracha's not hot sauce.
That's the flavor.
It's flavor. I usually have to put that on the pot pie because it's kind of bland. But we'll be back. We'll let you guys know how it is. Of course, we are now half a day away from NVIDIA earnings after the bell. We got the midday before that. And of course, you'll probably be rooting for a little bit of Arsenal. Congratulations to them. We know Sharif's excited. Hopefully some small cappers have been good because Poet disappointed today. Wanted that to go. See you guys.
Louis.